And we start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick Phillips. Welcome to Hurricane Football. As tonight, the Wilmington Hurricane varsity football team is going to be hosting the team from Miami Trace out of Fayette County, Washington Courthouse. The Hurricanes football on WALHradio.com is brought to you by Bill Marine Ford Chrysler Plymouth Dodge and Jeep, 1182 West Main Street in Wilmington, and by Wilmington Savings Bank at 184 North South Street, Wilmington, and by Bogart's Barbecue, delicious barbecue, 975 South South Street in Wilmington. And tonight's game will be obviously play-by-play in color from our broadcast crew. AJ, you take it away.
Thank you, Rick. Again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to Townsend Field at Williams Stadium for tonight's broadcast. As Rick said, it's the Wilmington Hurricane at 6-0, taking on the 4-2 Panthers of Miami Trace. My name is AJ Ganger. Alongside me, as always, Ethan Rudd. Ethan, are you ready for some nice, cold, and rainy Friday night football tonight?
I am ready, and I am glad that I'm in the booth with you, AJ, tonight.
It's better than being outside there with all those fans. You know, they got the umbrellas up outside. But, you know, just because it's raining, that doesn't keep the people away from the stadium tonight.
No, I mean, they're going to come out and support their boys, especially since they're 6-0. They're looking forward to the playoffs, and they're looking forward to a big matchup next week against Massey.
Now, you told me earlier what Wilmington's ranking is in their region right now for the playoffs. Tell me what their ranking is in their region.
Right now, Wilmington is ranked 8th in the region. The top 8 teams in the region go to the playoffs, so that makes this game even more crucial. You almost have to approach this as a must-win game.
Yeah, I think tonight's going to be a real big test here for the Hurricane. I mean, probably not as big as a one as it was earlier in the year, taking on Vandalia Butler on the road. Tonight, they get the chance to play on their home field, hear some cannon fire when they score and everything else like that. So that should be great. And also, tonight is the Cancer Awareness Game, where we are honoring all members who have been either diagnosed, survived, or did not beat the battle of cancer here tonight at Townsend Field at Williams Stadium on the campus of beautiful Wilmington College. It's not so beautiful right now. It's kind of, wet and puddly. At least we don't have Lake Kettering this year. Well, again, tonight, like I said, Miami Trace comes into town. What are some of the keys to the game for Wilmington tonight to be able to come out with a W and stay undefeated?
Well, Wilmington has to make the most of their opportunities on offense tonight. That's something Coach Kellen mentioned at Generations Pizza earlier this week. They have to avoid the 3-and-outs, and they can't commit turnovers. And when I say that they have to make the most of their opportunities, it's because Miami Trace does a pretty good job of holding onto the ball on offense. They have really long drives, and their offense is predicated on the running game. So they like to hang on to the ball. Also, Wilmington has to make stops on defense. Get off the field on 3rd down. Don't let them establish their running game and let them push you around. Also, stop Miami Trace's running game. That's the key thing tonight that Wilmington has to do. And Coach Kellen, he said they have to play discipline. They have to know their assignments. Most importantly, they have to tackle.
And Wilmington has only allowed, I think, one 100-yard rusher all season long, and that was Nick Martin from Vandalia Butler, I believe. And, like you said tonight, they need to be able to stop Trace's running game. And we're talking to Coach Kellen on Tuesday night at Generations. He says their offense is like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. So how do you think Wilmington's defense is going to be able to stop that with the three yards in a cloud of dust?
Well, Kellen really stresses that his kids have to know their assignments, and they have to hit their gaps hard, and they have to hit their gaps fast. We've seen these Wilmington defenders do a pretty good job of staying at home on defense. They haven't been fooled by screen passes or misdirection for the most part. So really, they just have to play fast, and they have to play disciplined.
Well, as the Wilmington Hurricane Band is down on the field, it's be a great moment to tell you that this is the only game we'll be broadcasting here live on WALH Radio this weekend. We have tomorrow at 2 o'clock kickoff time, the Wilmington Fighting Quakers taking on the 6th-ranked John Carroll Blue Streaks. That game is going to be pretty good. It's homecoming here this weekend on campus. A lot of alumni are back. I don't know if you've seen any of them yet on campus or not, but I've seen quite a few alumni back on campus, pretty much for the fraternity and sorority parties, but I won't go there. Well, Ethan, as we get ready here for the national anthem, we're going to break here for a second. When we come back, I'm going to ask you some keys to the game for Trace on how they can do it, and then Wilmington's 4-3 multiple defense versus this run game for Miami Trace. So we'll be right back. Well, Ethan, like we were talking about, some keys to the game tonight. What are some keys for Miami Trace to come out with a W and improve to 5-2 and pretty much, I'm going to say, pull the upset?
If Miami Trace wants to have success in this game, they're going to have to establish their ground game early. Like I said before, this offense focuses so much on their running game. It helps their offense stay in rhythm, and it helps them control the clock. This is an offense that believes a lot in the saying the best defense is a good offense, I should say rather, because they hold on to the ball for so long, and that helps them establish the tempo for the whole game. On defense, they need to force mistakes, make Wilmington turn the ball over and take advantage of that. Fill your gaps and pressure the quarterback. They play a 5-2, so that's 5 down linemen, and they're going to be matched up one-on-one with 5 guards, a tackle in the center. Kalen mentioned that they have a very athletic defensive line, and they have very aggressive corners too. And most importantly, win the one-on-one matchups. They're going to have, with 5 down linemen, you only have 2 linebackers and 4 corners and safeties. So they're going to have to be matched up one-on-one for the majority of the game. And this is a Wilmington offense that loves to use 4 and 3 receiver sets.
Well, like you said, I mean, if they can get to Matt Credit early and often, it's going to rattle them a little bit with those 5 down linemen. They're going to have a stout passing attack. But also Wilmington, I think tonight, they are able to, throw those quick slant routes. You got Dylan Bogart out there. You got a Harley McPherson. You got Andy Ely. All those receivers and tight ends that Wilmington's going to be able to hit on quick routes. As long as Credit can get the ball out of his hand as fast as he can, that's going to be, I think, the key for Wilmington going through and scoring points through this contest.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing when you're defending Wilmington is that they love to spread you out, and it's not just one guy. It's multiple receivers and multiple backs making plays for this Hurricane offense.
Well, let's talk about this Wilmington defense. They run a multiple defense. Basically they're 4-3, but they can run 3-4s, 5-2s, whatever they want to run. How does this defense fare against the running game of Trace tonight?
Miami Trace is a very physical team up front. They don't shy away from pounding the ball up the middle. And also, besides just they don't run the ball up the middle, expect some misdirection and outside runs to keep the defense off balance. Kellen mentioned the misdirection. That's one of the reasons why these Wilmington defenders are going to have to play disciplined, know their assignments, and play their home gaps because they can't be caught off guard by misdirection play. And, you got to keep the fundamentals in mind. Don't over-pursue on the misdirections. Wrap up and run through your tackles.
And I also think it'll be big for Wilmington to get a lot of 3-and-outs. You don't want to keep your defense on the field a lot, even though your offense likes to score in 30 seconds or less if they can. I think the big key tonight for Wilmington is going to be able to, get their defense off the field and keep their offense on the field.
It'll be interesting to see how many defenders Wilmington puts in the box on the first series because they have that 4-3 base defense, but they can go 4-4 and show you some other fronts too. They love shutting down the running game and making other teams pass on them because that generates turnover.
The 30-yard line, a nice return of around 27 yards for Dylan Bogart. Wilmington will take over, first down and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Wilmington needs to approach this game like it's all business. Like I said, the computer rankings have them 8th in the region. The top 8 teams go to the playoffs. They have to approach every game as if it is a must-win game right now.
Especially right now with a 4-2 hungry team. You know, one of their losses this year was to Chillicothe, who's the other 4-2 team playing that team that's won back-to-back state championships here or there tonight at their home field. So we're going to have to, get some updates on that game as we go. To begin our ball game, we got trips out to the right in the shotgun formation is Matt Credit with Jerry Johns next to him. Bogart's going to go in motion. He's going to get the handoff on the far sideline. He's got to cut it up, and he's not going to get anywhere on that play. He didn't cut it up as soon as what he should have.
Yeah, I think he either needed to be more decisive with his cut or he should have tried to string it out and gone off the edge of his blockers on that play. It's a 5-2 defense. They have 5 down linemen, so that creates one-on-one matchups with the offensive linemen. Usually you have 4 down linemen. So they can stretch out the line and do that. They have very athletic ends on this defensive unit.
Well, here we go on second down and 10 yards to go. We're going to have a tight end on the left side. 2 receivers to the right, and the pistol is Credit with Johns behind him, showing blitz. Is Trace, quick pass on the far side, and it's incomplete, intended for number 20, Austin Camp. And now it's 3rd and 10 for Wilmington.
Yeah, Miami Trace was bringing more blitzers than Wilmington had blockers. They brought all 5 of their defensive linemen and then filled the gaps with their linebackers. It created a lot of pressure up front for Matt Credit. He tried to get it away early. That ball's probably slippery, too. His receiver wasn't able to bring it in.
Like we said tonight, rain. It's about 50 degrees outside, maybe colder, probably around 45. Here at kickoff, we'll probably get down almost to 30, the high 30s at the end of the game. Trips to the right side, 1 receiver to the left. Credit in the pistol. He's going to roll out to his right. Looking downfield, good block. That ball is incomplete, and there's a flag down. That's number 1 was all over Harley McPherson on that play, and that's going to be an automatic first down for Wilmington. He got there a little too soon, Ethan.
Yeah, he got there a hair soon. It looked like a pretty good defensive play, except that I think he had an arm around his hip. He got there just a little too early. Harley McPherson and Miller, the 2 big tight ends, they don't have a lot of catches, but it seems like they have 1 big play every game. McPherson was the one who brought in a 95-yard catch against East Clinton.
So it's going to be first down and 10 now for Wilmington after the penalty at the 45-yard line. And there's about 11 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in our first quarter of play on Wilmington's first drive, and it's the first drive of the game as well. 2 receivers tied into the left. Credit in the pistol with Johns behind him. Blitz coming. Johns gets the carry, gets across the 45, and runs his way down close to midfield to the 49-yard line, a gain of 4 yards.
Without Garrett Scott, Jerry Johns is going to be the predominant carrier of the ball for the Hurricane offense. Also, probably expect to see Andy Fisher in there some by the end of the game.
It'll be second down and 6 yards to go for the Hurricane. They're staying on the field. Normally we'd see them already put 6 points on the board. We got trips out to the right side, a tight end on the left. In the pistol is Matt Credit. Behind him is Jerry Johns. Credit takes the snap, straight drop back pass. Fires this one. It's complete to Dylan Bogart on the sideline. He jukes a man. He's down inside the 30-yard line, down to the 28. What a catch and run, Dylan Bogart.
Dylan Bogart is the speedy, elusive slot receiver, and that time he lines up in the slot, catches a quick pack from Matt Credit in the flat, and then he turns the corner and heads upfield. Nice play to exploit the man-on-man coverage.
Well, Dylan Bogart, after the big gain, gets a first down into Miami Trace territory for the first time today at the 28-yard line for Wilmington. Credit is going to be under center in the single back formation with trips out to the right side. Johns as the running back. This one goes to Johns on the left side. He almost broke that one free. He gets across the 25 to the 23-yard line, a gain of 5.
So far, the 5-2 defense hasn't really slowed them down any. They've been able to take advantage of the man-on-man matchups. We saw Dylan. He caught a little ball on a crossing route there. It was a pass into the flat, crossed 2 other receivers, and they've been able to run the ball up the middle pretty well, too, so far.
Wilmington showing their dominance. They've thrown some really nice quick passes. Dylan Bogart came on a slant on that big play they just had a few moments ago. On second down and 5, there's trips to the left side. Credit in the pistol. He's going to do play action. Fires this one for Andy Ely. He hangs on down to the 16, almost to the 15-yard line, and that's another Hurricane first down as they're inside the red zone for the first time today.
He hits Andy on a quick slant there. More quick passes than we've seen. Usually they're throwing it down the field, but Matt Credit is in a rhythm right now.
Credit's going to hand off to Johns on the right side. Johns gets across the 15 to around the 13. They hurried up and ran that play. They were in the single back formation with 2 receivers out to the right. It's going to be a gain of around 2.5 yards, second down and 8.
Not a lot of yards there because the defensive end sealed the end of the line pretty well, and he helped his linebackers fill the gaps and stop the run.
Trips out to the left again, this time in the pistol with the tight end on the right side. Credit's going to take the pass, drop back, fires, Dylan Bogart got it. He almost got to the 10. I think they're going to mark him down around the 12. And it's going to be third down and about 6 for the Hurricane.
It looked like the same play that Dylon had the big play on to get them down into the red zone here, just on the opposite side of the field. That time the man defense was a little tighter, and the defender ran through Dylon and made a nice tackle.
Third down and 6 yards to go for the Hurricane, trying to put 6 points up on the board first.
Wilmington has done a pretty good job getting the ball out of Matt Credit's hands.
Showing blitz, Credit back to pass. He's under pressure, and he's spun down at the 20-yard line. Sack, number 58 on the sack, Todd Foster for Miami Trace.
And I think that's why we've seen the Hurricane utilize quick passes so far in this drive. With one-on-one matchups up front with the linemen, it just takes one guy beating his man to get to the quarterback.
Well, it's fourth down. About 14 yards to go for the Hurricane. What do you think they're going to do here on fourth down? With the rain, I think it's a go-for-it situation.
Yeah, they're going to have to pass it here. They haven't had a lot of time to let plays develop, so we're going to have to see if they can get the ball off on this play.
4 wide receivers in the pistol is Credit. He's going to drop back to pass. He's got Bogart wide open. He throws over the middle. Instead for Andy Ely. He's close to the first down. Let's see where they mark it, and they don't give it to him. He's going to be short just about a half a yard, I believe.
In that
Credit had
situation,
Bogart.
the receiver should make sure that he's beyond that first down marker.
Credit had Bogart open over here on the right side, too.
Yeah.
Instead, he throws it off to Ely.
You got to know where you are. If he would have been just a half a step or a step down the field a little further, that would have been a first down.
Well, Trace is going to take over on their first possession of the ball game after the turnover on downs on the 6-yard line. First down and 10. Got a 2-back set. This one's going to be handed off to the fullback up the middle. It gets across the 10. Number 14, Russell Miller carried the ball there. Gains 3 yards. It's second down and 7 yards to go. Second down, 7 yards to go, 2-back set again. A little bit of a miscommunication in the backfield. That ball was handed off that time. Number 35, Jeremiah Jones on the carry. Gets about 2 more yards, and it's 3rd and 5 for the Panthers.
Well, already we've seen Miami Trace come out and just run the ball up the middle on their first 2 plays of the game. It's what they want to do. They want to establish the run, but it's 3rd and 5.
It'll be a dangerous place to pass, though.
2-back set, 2 receivers to the right side. Man going in motion is Jones. There's the toss play. Strings it out, and he's going to be brought down. Number 45, Austin Thompson. Brought down Miller on the play, and it's 4th down and about 3 yards to go. And like Helen said, they like to go for it, but down in this spot, I don't think he's going to go for it.
Yeah, Austin Thompson and those Hurricane did a really great job of sealing off the edge on that run. They cut the edge off, they blew up the blockers, and they got in to make the play. Nick
Mans is going to be standing on his own, too. Bogart and Ely back. That one almost got blocked. It's a high punt. Bogart's going to get away from this one as it's going to bounce down and stay in Trace territory at the 49-yard line, where the Hurricane will take over after their first possession ended in a turnover on downs. What do you think they're going to do different on this possession?
I don't think they're going to do much different because Matt Credit was in a rhythm until he took that sack. he was getting off nice quick passes. They were finding their men open against the man coverage, and they were running the ball for 3 or 4 yards a pop.
Yeah, and I think that, one of the things you got to remember is the Hurricanes seem to start slow during the first quarter. They crank it up the second, third, and the last quarter. So I think that what they're probably doing is they're sort of feeling out Miami Trace, trying to get sort of an idea of who they are, what they are, and how they're going to attack them. And, I think we're going to see them progressively get better and solve this problem here.
I formation for the Hurricanes on first down. One receiver out to the left. It's Andy Ely. Jerry Johns is the tailback. Blitz coming. There's a flag down on the play. It's going to be... I think this one's might be on Trace. No, it's going to be an offsides against Wilmington. Ely might not have been on the line of scrimmage.
That would be my guess, yeah.
Well, it's going to be first down and 15 now for Wilmington. That drives them back into their own territory at the 46-yard line. They lined up in the I. Kellen said they're going to take what they give them. And I think they're giving them a lot of open running space when they want to. And they're going to start out in the I again. This time Fisher is out to the left again. Or Ely's out to the left. Fisher is the fullback in front. Back to pass this credit on first down. Throws it. Quick slant route for Andy Ely. What a catch. Down to the 46-yard line.
A quick slant route again in this 5-2. You have all of your 5 offensive linemen blocking the 5 down linemen, which gives the 2 backers space. They can blitz around the ends or they can blitz up the middle gap, and that creates a lot of trouble and a lot of confusion.
And that opens up the middle right there.
I formation again. Johns gets the carry. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a gain of nothing, and it's going to be third down and a long 7 for the Hurricane. Maybe they go back to the pistol here, maybe 4 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers, something like that, do some quick slant routes.
When the backers are blitzing like that and filling the interior gaps, leaves the middle of the field wide open, which means big gains for your slot receivers and your tight ends.
4 wide, pistol formation, credit back to pass. Good block by Johns. He's under pressure. He gets rid of it. It's completed to Harley McPherson. That's a catch. I think he's out close to the first down as well. He's going to be short, just about inches. I would go for it.
There's a flag in the backfield, it looks like. I didn't see what happened.
I think Credit got roughed. Credit did get roughed, so guess what?
First down.
First down, Hurricane.
And honestly, that was pretty good coverage by Trace on that play. They did a pretty good job. The 5-2 is predominantly a man-to-man defense, and they did a really good job of running with the receivers that time.
Oh, yeah, they were on the receivers. They had them covered like blankets. They've been on the
receivers the entire game, especially Harley McPherson, with him having that 95-yard catch a few weeks ago where he was wide open. A lot of his touchdowns come when he was wide open.
Yeah, I think that
5 wide receivers for Credit. He's in the gun. 3 to the right, 2 to the left.
Another
Credit.
pass.
Throws a screen pass on the far sideline to Andy Ely, who gets spun right down at the 20-yard line. And the Hurricanes are back to inside the red zone where they're 0 for 1 already this afternoon. 4 minutes and about 8 seconds and counting in our first quarter.
They spread the defense out and they get a little bubble screen. They pick up some yards. That bubble screen is almost like an extension of your ground game. Is a good way to pick up yards and keep your quarterback in rhythm.
Second down and about 5 yards to go for the Hurricane. Again, spread, 5 wide receivers. Bogart coming in motion. It's a play action. Credit's going to keep it. Get down to about the 17. It was like a read option jet sweep there, and it's going to be third down and 3.
Yeah, Wilmington's trying to spread out this defense to create some running lanes, but that time Miami Trace's linemen did a pretty good job at staying in their home gaps, and there wasn't much there.
Well, Trace, you can see, is a very disciplined team, and they're good on their coverages, and they're good as far as staying at home. They're not being fooled by any misdirection by Wilmington.
3 wide receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. Credit in the shotgun. John's right next to him. Credit's going to keep it himself. He's got a first down. He takes a big hit, spun down at the 11-yard line. It's a first down for the Hurricane.
Whenever you're carrying the ball on a rainy night like this, you're going to have to make sure that you wrap the ball up because that ball is going to be wet. You can't carry it out there
like a loaf of bread.
Like a loaf of bread outside of your hip on a rainy night like this.
Well, Hurricane are now down to the 12-yard line. They can still pick up a first down at the 2.
Now, is that white or wheat that you're carrying?
It depends on who you are. I like to carry some wheat bread. I like some wheat bread.
Is that black and white or is that black and blue?
If it's on a burger, black and blue. I formation, strong side to the right. Play action, rolling out the pass. He's got Andy Fisher. He's going to throw it for McPherson. Ball to the air, and it's incomplete. Pass was intended for Alex Miller. Correction.
Miami Trace's defensive secondary has played pretty disciplined. In that time, they read the quarterback's eyes, they dropped their hips off of the play action, and they recovered in time to bat away that pass. Really good play.
I would have thrown that ball to Fisher. I would have done the check down and throw it to Fisher on that play. Second down, 10 yards to go. I formation again, 2 tight end set.
We got
this
an
one's
early
going to
score.
Jerry Johns. Johns powers his way down to the 5-yard line. Great run. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
Here's an early score. We've got Massey losing right now to Chillicothe 6-0 in the first quarter.
Massey's losing to Chillicothe 6-0.
Well, the top 2 teams in the conference, Clinton Massey and Wilmington, are going up against the 3rd and 4th place teams. Pretty good test for Clinton Massey and Wilmington tonight.
And both Trace and Chillicothe are both 4-2, but Chillicothe has beaten Miami Trace 28-14 this year. I formation, strong side to the right. Straight drop back pass. Fires for Andy Ely. Ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. It was intended for Andy Ely, and it's going to be 4th down and a long 3 for the Hurricane. You going to bring on Ben Constant here? Yes, they are. Get that 3 points.
Miami Trace is a very athletic and active defensive front 7. And that time we saw the defensive line bat away a pass. Pretty good play. They helped their defensive secondary out, and their defensive secondary has been playing really well so far in this man coverage.
This is going to be about a 23-yard field goal for Ben Constant. Matt Credit is going to hold this one. He's not quite in the middle of the field. More on the left hash. Snap is down. Kick is up. End over end. And that one is through the uprights. And Wilmington takes the lead 3-0 against Miami Trace with 1:51 left to play in our first quarter. Ethan, Trace likes to hold the ball. Wilmington's held the ball a lot longer than Miami Trace has in this first quarter.
Well, you know, Kellen said that Miami Trace approaches each game as if the best defense is a good offense. And it seems like Kellen has adopted that approach for this game. I know they would have liked to punch it in for 6 on that drive, but at least they got a little closer for the field goal attempt and they got 3 points.
You know, you take points when you can get them, but you don't make a habit of kicking for 3. Back to return the kickoff, Derek Markham, number 2, and number 11, DeAndre Pettiford for the Panthers. Ben Constant will be in to kick this one off, the man who just made the 23-yard field goal. Again, 1:51 to play in our first quarter. Trace getting ready to have their second possession. They went 3 and out on their first drive, but they were stuck down deep in their own end zone, and they just lost the field position battle on that last couple exchanges.
Yeah, and it was a run on all 3 plays. They've shown why they're typically a run-heavy offense already.
And Coach Bartlett teams are tough. According to Coach Kellen, he's got a lot of respect for Coach Bartlett. Here goes the kickoff from Ben Constant. This one going to be a squib kick, bouncing up the middle. Nobody's going to get it. He's going to fall on it at the 20-yard line. Is number 11, DeAndre Pettiford for Trace, and they're going to take over on the 20. Just about, it works just like a touchback. That was a perfect squib kick too. Bounced perfectly down the middle of the field. And, you know, with this field turf, balls like to take some funny bounces.
Yeah, the Miami Trace players couldn't really get a handle on the ball there.
They were a little bit confused. We're going to start out 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. As Miami Trace, they got a 2-back set, 2 receivers out to the right. Number 12 is in at quarterback, Skylar McDonald. Back to pass. Looking. Ball's tipped in the air. Keller almost had it. Skylar's pass was incomplete. He was throwing it there to the far sideline. Brad Keller almost ran that ball down.
Well, we've talked about how Miami Trace has had a very active defensive line and very active secondary play so far in this game. That time we see Wilmington's defensive line rise to the challenge and bat down a pass.
It's going to be 2nd down and 10. Two-back set again, 2 receivers to the right. McDonald under center. Man coming in motion again. This one's going to be a toss. And look who drugs him down on that one again. McAvoy brings him down for a loss. It's number 14, Russell Miller on the carry, and that's going to be 3rd down and about 11.
Chris McAvoy exploded out of his stance on that play. He blew up a blocker, got a hand on the ball carrier, and then wrapped him up. That was a really great play, sealing off the edge for that runner, and he allowed the rest of the reinforcements to pile on too.
Be 3rd down and about 10. He got barely back to the line of scrimmage.
This is where Wilmington's
This time we're going
defense
to have 2
likes to have
receivers to
them.
the
Little, maybe an interception here.
2 receivers to the left, 2 back set, 1 receiver's going in motion to the far side. Back to pass is McDonald. Straight drop back. Throws.
Oh.
It's incomplete. The pass was intended for number 4, Cedric Pettiford, and it's going to be 4th down and 10.
I saw 3 black jerseys there on one guy. Kellen was talking about how he approaches coverages. It's predominantly man, but he uses zone schemes, and he says on each play there's a little bit of a zone scheme going on depending on the yards and the steps the receivers take. I think what he means by that is that their defensive backs try to keep the play in front of them until the route develops, and then they go full man.
Yeah.
Nick Manns is in the punt. Bogart is standing
High
in
snap.
midfield. High snap.
Almost blocked.
Blocked. Bogart's going to have to get away from this one, and this one is going to take a bounce back to the 42. Number 69, Matthew Hottinger, is going to pick up and down the ball. Wilmington takes over again in great field position in Trace territory at the 42-yard line.
So far, Wilmington's defense has really set the tempo for this game. They played very physical. They haven't allowed Miami Trace to establish a running game yet, and Miami Trace's offense hasn't been doing their defense any favors, because Miami Trace's defense has always been getting bad field position to start out with.
1st down and 10. They're going to be in the single back set. 2 receivers are out to the left. We got a tight end on the left as well. This is going to be a toss play. It's going to be reversed. Dylan Bogart, he's looking for the pass. He's going to pull it down. He gets across the 40-yard line. And that was almost a little trickery there by Kelly.
There were a couple pumps there. I wasn't sure whether he was going to throw it or whether he was just trying to fake him out.
Well, at least Dylon did the smart thing, and he pulled it down and tried to pick up a few yards because he didn't see his man was open. At least he didn't.
And it was
force
Matt
it there.
Credit going out for the pass.
Yeah.
Well, he picks up 2 anyways on the run. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 from the 40. They need to get to about the 33.5 yard line, or 32.5 yard line to pick up a 1st down.
This will be the last snap of the quarter.
Back to pass is Credit. He's under pressure. Rolls out to the left. He's going to fire this one down the field, and it's incomplete in the area of Dylan Bogart and Andy Ely on the far side. That's going to do it for our first quarter of play. The Wilmington Hurricanes 3 and Miami Trace 0.
Matt Credit was pressured on that play. It was interesting to see what Miami Trace showed up front. They had 3, it was in the 5-2 set, but they had 3 down linemen in their stance, and then they had 2 ends standing up who actually dropped back into pass coverage, and that seemed to confuse Matt Credit.
Bogart's Barbecue is located at 975 South Street, Wilmington, Ohio, the home of the world's famous Southern Barbecue. At Bogart's Southern Barbecue, serving the best tasting barbecue is our reason for being. Stop by our location and enjoy our fall off the bone tender meats, savory sides, and delicious desserts. We'd be mighty pleased to have you. Bogart's Barbecue shouting, "Go Canes!" Call them at 937-655-8100 or just stop by for some great Southern barbecue at 975 South Street, Wilmington, Ohio. Go Canes! And I'm sure Dylan's father is mighty happy that we plug him in there a little bit, and we're also going to talk about his son a lot in the broadcast.
I'm just waiting for the barbecue to be sent over.
I know,
You
right?
know?
I've been waiting for some Bogart's Barbecue ever since kickoff game.
I want some of that to fall off the bone right in my mouth.
To begin the second quarter, it's going to be 3rd and 8 from the 40-yard line for the Hurricane. The rain still falling here at Townsend Field at Williams Stadium. In the pistol formation with 4 wide is Credit. Johns is the running back. Back to pass. Credit fires one over the middle, and it's just too high for Dylan Bogart. There was a 4 verticals play right there. Everyone was running a streak route, and it's going to be 4th down. If you're Kellen, do you punt it or do you go for it?
I don't know. I'd say I'd go for it.
So I don't have to answer that question right now.
I would go for it. Oh, no, it looks like they're going to punt. Or at least they are going to act like they're going to punt.
He did a fake punt last week and almost worked. or a couple weeks ago. Back to receive, Matt Credit's punt is number 1, Brad Warnock, and number 2, Derek Markham. Credit. A nice punt. Line drive. Fair catch called for, and it's going to just hop over the end zone at the 2. And it's going to be a touchback, and Trace will take over on the 20-yard line. First down and 10 with 11:48 until halftime.
Well, so far this game has been a tale of two defenses, and the defenses have both looked pretty impressive so far. Wilmington has done a great job of, for the most part, shutting down Miami Trace's running game, and that's because they've filled their gaps with linebackers, and their defensive ends have been very active in cutting off the edges of this running game. They've been sealing off the offensive tackles and blowing up runners. And then, conversely, Miami Trace's defense has played very well because of their coverage. They've been able to stick to Wilmington's receivers' hips very well so far.
Two-back set. McDonald under center, 2 receivers out to the right. This one is going to go to number 14. He busts a couple tackles, and he's drugged down by Andy Fisher. Number 14, Russell Miller, was on the carry. He picks up 11, and it's a first down for the Panthers, the first positive run of the game.
They opened up a pretty nice gap for Miller on that play. And they have a couple powerful backs that can carry the ball in that time. He goes straight up the middle, puts his shoulders down, and he picks up positive yardage. Nice play.
Great blocking by the offensive line as well. It's going to be first down and 10 from the 31-yard line. 2 receivers are lined up to the right. 2-back set again. Miller and Jones. This time, 35. Jones is going to get the handoff, and Jones is going absolutely nowhere. I think he might have lost about a half yard.
Yeah, a lot of guys in the box for Wilmington on that defensive stop there, and they did a good job of filling up their gaps and staying home on defense.
This is reminding me more and more of the Butler game.
Yes, it is. Except Butler would have already been up.
Yeah, well.
By 8.
We don't want them to get any kind of rhythm going as far as their running game.
No,
that's
they
for
do
sure.
not. 2 receivers are out to the left. It's a 2-back set again. 2nd and 10. This one's going to go to Jones again on the left side. This time Jones is going to pick up 3 out to the 2 out to the 33-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd and long upcoming for the Panthers.
Wilmington had 7 guys in the box that time, plus 2 safeties playing very close to the line of scrimmage. They're daring this Miami Trace offense to pass the ball on them. They love
because they won't.
Right. They love making offenses one-dimensional, and they know this Miami Trace team has come in with the hopes of establishing their ground game.
And Kellen, being the defensive guru that he is, he knows exactly how to. There's no safeties back this time on 3rd down and 8. It's a screen pass on the far side. Bogart brought him down just short at the 40-yard line. Number 4 was on the catch, Cedric Pettiford. It's going to be 4th and 1, and if we know something, like Kellen said, they're going to go for it.
They only have 1 yard to pick up. They're very physical.
They're about a half yard to pick up. And
timeout.
That's Coach Barlow doesn't like what he sees. It's going to be a timeout for the Panthers. That's their first of the half.
Yeah.
This crowd on the Wilmington sideline just went crazy. Home field advantage.
Well, obviously one thing that Trace doesn't want to do is if they're going to go for this, they don't want to get stopped. They get stopped, that could turn the game.
Yeah, they get stopped. They're losing the field position battle again. And the way Wilmington's offense, they've been, throwing the ball a lot because they can't really run the ball with the 5-2 defense. But at the same time, it just takes that one step, one missed assignment to be able to score 6 points. So it looks like they're still going to go for it. The offense is still on the field. The crowd going wild here. 4th and inches. 2 receivers to the right. 2-back set. McDonald under center. Everyone's coming on this play. Quick handoff to Jones, and he's got it.
Miami Trace is a very physical team up front. They can pound it up the middle, so they go back to what has made them successful, what has made them 4-2, and they've only lost 1 game within the conference. So
they needed about a half a yard, and they got 3 out to the 43-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Two back set again, two receivers out to the right side. Wilmington showing blitz. They are blitzing. This one's going to go to Miller, I think. Miller got the carry that time. Where was Jeremiah Jones? He picks up 2 yards to the 45. It's 2nd and 8.
Well, they're certainly earning every yard they're getting from the Wilmington defense.
Two back set again, one receiver each side for Trace. Quick drop back pass, fires. And that was a basket catch there across midfield to the 49-yard line. Number 4, Cedric Pettiford on the catch, and it's going to be 3rd and 2.
They hit the curl route there on the man coverage. He's running down the field, and he breaks out of his route quickly. That creates the initial separation. That pass play, pretty good timing between quarterback and receiver on that play. Nice pass.
And he threw it only where his receiver could get it. 3rd and 2, two receivers to the right side. Jones and Miller in the backfield. Jones is going to get the carry up the middle. He broke free across the 45 to the 42, and it's going to be a first down for the Panthers. They're inside Wilmington territory.
Miami Trace has showed great patience in establishing their ground game. Not a lot of big gains, but they have broken a couple off. They're going to stick with that ground game.
1st and 10, 8 minutes, 10 seconds and counting left in our first half. 3-0 Hurricane. Again, two receivers, one on each side. Two backs in the backfield behind McDonald. Jones is going to get the carry again, and he's upended at the 35-yard line. A great pickup. I'm going to say around 7 yards, and it's going to be 2nd and 3.
He was sort of able to cut it back just slightly on that play, and there were no defenders staying at home that time. That's something Kellen stressed that Generations Pizza was filling gaps and staying at home.
2nd down, 3 yards. Two back set again. Jones is going to just get the ball again. They're just going to feed him, and he's going to pick up the first down by a yard to the 31 for Miami Trace.
Looks like they're starting to establish a little bit of rhythm here with their running game. That's something that Wilmington needs to shut them down on again and not let them get this rhythm going.
And long drives like this will wear you down if you're playing that defensive line.
And the crowd has kind of been silenced here on the Wilmington sideline. Two back set again. Two receivers each side. One receiver each side. This is the toss play to Miller on the far side. Miller's out across the 20, inside the 15, and it's a first down. Miami Trace are in the red zone for the first time today.
Yeah, Miami Trace, they run up the middle of the field. They hit the interior gaps with their running back time after time after time, and then they catch you filling in those middle gaps, and they pitch it out wide to where you're not.
1st and 10 on the 15-yard line. It's a two-back set, one receiver each side again for McDonald. Jones is going in motion. This one is going to be stopped in the backfield. There were a ton of black shirts in there, and that men in black and white, or the Tide, as Jake called them, brings him down for a loss of 2.
Yeah, a little misdirection on that play. The quarterback starts going left, and then he hands back to his running back running right. In that time, the interior lineman of this Wilmington defense did a great job of staying at home, locating where the ball was, and then stopping it.
2nd and 12. Same formation this time. Back to pass is McDonald. Ball's tipped at the line. Batted right back in your face. How does that have to feel as a quarterback to get a ball right back into your face?
Well, it's frustrating, and also it gets that adrenaline pumping because once a ball is tipped in the air, anything can happen to it. It looks like he was trying to hit that curl route on the left side of the field again, but the defenders made a great play by getting their hands up and batting that pass down.
It's going to be 3rd and 12 from the 17. They need to get to the 5-yard line to pick up a first down here. 6:37 remaining until halftime. Two receivers are out to the right. It's a two-back set. McDonald is going to be under center. Man in motion. Back to pass. Quick play. Wide open. Number 47, Jay Cole. And that's a touchdown for the Panthers.
Yeah, play action on that play, and he got probably his tight end, I'd say, running up the seam of the field. The play action froze the linebackers, and he was able to toss it over the linebackers' heads. He was wide open for that touchdown.
That was a big missed assignment. And just like that, the Panthers come and take their first lead of the ball game here. Number 30, Lance Mick, is going to be in to attempt the extra point. In to hold is number 2, Derek Markham. Snap is a little high, kicks down end over end, and it's no good, and that will only keep Trace's lead at 3. Our score was 6:33 left to play in our first half. Wilmington 3, Miami Trace 6.
You know, that play action worked a lot like a previous play on that drive, the pitch play that gained them a bunch of yards and got them closer to the red zone, and the fact that Miami Trace kept hitting Wilmington up the middle time after time after time, and then they go outside once. So your linebackers are filling those middle gaps, but that's not where the play is. And then on that time, they run up the middle time after time after time again, and then they say, okay, you're onto that, so we're going to go play action. We're going to freeze your linebackers. Those linebackers were trying to fill the gaps, and that froze them a step and got their tight end wide open.
Blake Pitzer will be in to kick this one off. He was the one who kicked the field goal. My bad on that. And back to return, Jerry Johns, Dylan Bogart. Wilmington will get the ball back with plenty of time to try to drive down and put 6 points instead of 3 on the board. Here's the kickoff. It's a high kickoff under Bogart. He's going to take it from the 10-yard line. He's out across the 15, the 20, the 25. Bogart's got blockers. He's out to the 35. He breaks free of a couple tackles. He's still juking his way down just shy of the 40-yard line to the 37. What a return by Dylan Bogart. The freshman sensation.
But he doesn't play like a freshman. He's made pretty good decisions so far. He's flashed the ability to catch the ball and make plays down the field, whether it's being elusive and breaking tackles or just flat out beating his man one-on-one and catching the ball.
Wilmington's offense has 6 minutes, 23 seconds left until halftime. A field goal ties it. A touchdown puts them in the lead. Jerry Johns is still out there as the running back right now. We got 2 receivers in the pistol formation. Credit takes the snap, drops back to pass. He's got Ely on the curl. He pumps fake. He's going to go deep, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Andy Ely. Number 11, DeAndre Pettiford, was on coverage.
A little miscommunication on that play. Matt Credit was throwing to the inside of his receiver, but his receiver broke outside. If he would have hit him, he might have had some space to run there. Miami Trace was bringing all 5 of their down linemen plus a linebacker and then dropping the rest of their guys into coverage on that play. But Wilmington's offensive line did a really good job of buying him enough time to let that play develop.
It's 2nd down and 10 for the Hurricane. Trips to the right. Look for Bogart to come in motion. Nope. Matt Credit is going to go to the option route. Johns gets the pitch and is brought down at the 45-yard line. A good pickup, and it's going to be 3rd down and 4.
Nice little option play to pick up some yards to make 3rd down a little bit more manageable for this Wilmington offense. Matt Credit hung on to that ball as long as he could, drew in a defender, took a hit, and then pitched it to his back at the last second. And that gave his back enough room to pick up 6 yards.
Same formation in the pistol, trips out to the right. Credit to take the snap. He's going to run the option again. This time he's going to keep it himself, and he stretches the ball forward. I think he might have picked it up, and I think the refs are going to give it to him. Depending on where the yellow line is, I think the official might want to have a measurement after he looks at it. They're going to bring the chains out for a measurement there.
Well, Matt didn't have a lot of room there, but he saw the defensive end was a little more wary of that pitch to the running back, and he took advantage of that, just a second of indecisiveness to cut it up the field and try to get just the 4 yards he needed to pick up that 1st down.
And to run the option, you have to be able to read the D end. Here comes the chain gang. And here comes the stretch. I think he got it just by the nose, and he did. 1st down. Great job by Credit to do that little extra stretch of the ball before his knee hit.
Yeah, it took a little bit of extra effort to pick up those few yards to pick up the first down. Great job. He keeps his offense out on the field. Hopefully they can take the lead on this drive.
1st and 10 for the Hurricane on the 48-yard line. 5 minutes, 40 seconds. The clock will run as soon as the chains are set. 3 receivers out to the right. Credit in the pistol with Johns behind him. Credit drops back to pass. Looking. He's got Bogart wide open, but he just overthrows him. Bogart laid himself out. Almost made that catch, but it's incomplete. It's 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, he just missed him. I wonder if a wet ball has anything to do with that, if that alters his release of the ball.
He put a little too much mustard on it.
Yeah, also, same blitz from Miami Trace again. All 5 defensive linemen blitzing, plus an inside linebacker.
They had 6 men coming into that backfield, and Credit had to get rid of that ball pretty quick, but it was picked up very nicely.
Yeah, so far it's been a pretty heady game by the Wilmington offensive line.
It's going to be 2nd down, 10 yards to go, 4 wide receivers. Credit in the pistol formation with Johns behind him. Showing blitz, back to pass. Credit under pressure, gets rid of it. Flag flies in. The pass was incomplete. Andy Ely was the intended receiver. It's a hold against Wilmington. They're going to replay 2nd down. It'll be 2nd and 20 now.
Yeah, Miami Trace was sending an awful lot of pressure there against the Hurricane, and Matt Credit's offensive linemen were just trying to help him out any way that they could. He still took a pretty big shot on that play.
From our scoring desk, Massey and Chillicothe are both tied now 6-all. So the PATs have been missed by both teams. It's Clinton Massey 6, Chillicothe 6.
2nd down, 20 yards to go for the Hurricane. 2 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. Credit in the pistol with Johns behind him. Blitz coming again. It's a screen play. Jerry Johns gets it, but he just gets across the 40 to the 42, and it's 3rd and long.
Miami Trace not only got the pressure, but they stayed at home on their man, on Jerry Johns, and they stopped that screen play before it got set up. Really good play by this Miami Trace defense, who's been playing pretty well so far in this first half.
It'll be 3rd and 16 yards to go, just under 5 and counting the play until halftime. Trace up 6-3 against the undefeated Hurricane.
You know, this 5-2 creates a lot of confusion up front for the Wilmington offensive line. Wilmington's offensive line has done a pretty good job so far of buying Mike Credit just enough time to get rid of the ball.
4 wide receivers in the pistol this time. Credit to take the snap. Back to pass. He scrambles out to the right. He's going to pull it down and run. Mike Credit's going to have a first down. He's got blockers downfield. He changes his course of field. He's getting across the 30 down to the 27, and it's a Hurricane first down.
Yeah, they were bringing everybody on that play. The only guys who weren't blitzing were the guys lined up man-to-man on the receiver.
And a great play by this young quarterback.
They were blitzing the interior gaps to get past the offensive linemen. The offensive linemen, remember, have one-on-one matchups against this 5-man front, so that frees up the linebackers to get in. They were blitzing the interior, which opened up the edge for Matt Credit to run around, and nobody was there to spy on him.
Jerry Johns is going to get a handoff up the middle, and he's going to get 2, maybe a yard and a half, and it's going to be 2nd down and 9.
That's the thing about facing athletic quarterbacks like Matt Credit. If you're going to have success in the blitz, you must contain him. You can't let him make plays with his legs.
Wilmington's been taking their time a lot lately in this ballgame. I think they have more time of possession right now than Trace does, which, according to Kellen, that's rare.
Yeah, it's been a very physical game so far, predicated around the ground game for both teams, really.
Trips out to the right. Credit is going to toss this one to Johns. Johns does have blockers. He cuts it upfield and is just shy of the 20-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about 3 yards to go.
Jerry got the pitch out to the right side of the formation, which was the strong side of the formation because they had trips lined up right, and his receivers over there, those 3 receivers, did a pretty good job of blocking their men and setting a great edge for Jerry to run around.
3rd down, about 3 yards to go. They need to get it inside the 19 to get a first down. Trips out to the left. Credit is in the pistol with Johns behind him. This one, it's going to be the same play this time to the other side. Johns got the first down inside the 20 to the 16-yard line, and and Wilmington is inside the red zone where they're 1 for 2 today.
Nice play by Jerry there, and good vision by him there. He didn't cut it out as far as he did on the opposite side of the field. This time he elected to cut it in a little earlier, and he hit that gap just quick enough to get those yards that he needed.
And he picked up 5 while doing it, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for Wilmington. They're going to move the field again, this time out to the right with trips in the pistol. Matt Credit is going to hand off to Johns up the middle, who's stuffed. He just dove forward to get back to the line of scrimmage. It is 2nd down and 10.
And Travis Grooms, the linebacker from Miami, made the stop there, and it was a really good stop. He filled his gap, executed his assignment really well, and the back was right where he was supposed to be on that blitz.
So Wilmington is getting the play in from the sideline. 2 minutes, 10 seconds, and counting until halftime. Hopefully Wilmington can get some kind of points on this drive. Trips out to the right side. John's the running back with Matt Credit in the pistol. Credit is going to pass this time. He's going for Bogart. It's completed. Touchdown! Touchdown! Hurricane! Dylan Bogart and Matt Credit hook up again.
Dylan Bogart lined up in the slot that time, runs a wheel route, and he creates just enough separation for Matt Credit to fit the ball in there on the right side of the field, hits him in the end zone, touchdown. Great-looking play, great-looking pass.
Pitch and catch all day long from these two. They'll do that for you for, 48 minutes all day long. Maybe in college, if they go to the same college, they'll do it for 60 minutes straight. Ben Constant will be in to kick the extra point with Matt Credit as the holder. This to put Wilmington up by 4. Snaps down, kicks end over end, and Ben Constant puts it through the uprights. Wilmington is back on top with 1:57 left to play in our first half. It's 10-6 Hurricane.
Wilmington did a great job of extending that drive, and what I mean by that is that they did face some adversity. This 5-2 defense made some stops against them, but they didn't let that prevent them from picking up the first down on the next play or 2 plays after that.
Don't forget, we are sponsored tonight by Wilmington Savings Bank alongside with Bill Marine, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ford, and as well as Bogart's Barbecue. As Ben Constant will be in to kick this one off. Back to receive, we got number 1, Brad Warnock, and number 2, Derek Markham, in to receive Constant's kickoff. Student section doing a little jump around down there. Constant got another squib kick. This one's like a high bounce off the shoulder pad. Number 36 recovered it. Bailey Allen, and with 2 timeouts, they get it at the 27-yard line. You think they can drive down and score here before halftime? They're going to have to pass if they want.
Yeah, they're going to probably have to pass if they want to get it down the field in 1:54. They're going to do their best to go back down the field and retake the lead.
Now, does Wilmington play it conservative here on defense with, a lot of tight coverages, or do you see them blitzing?
Kellen loves to pressure the quarterback. His man defense is all about pressuring the quarterback and making him make a throw that he doesn't want to make.
2-back set, 2 receivers. This one is going to go absolutely nowhere. Miller was on the carry on the far side. That's the way the men in black and white defense plays.
Yeah, they pitched out to the left side of the field that time, and there were a lot of black jerseys around the ball from the moment he got the ball on that pitch because they cut off the edge of the edge of the offensive line. Again, they sealed off the runner, and they didn't allow him any room to run.
Loss of about a half a yard. It's still going to be 2nd down and 10 yards to go here for the Panthers. 2-back set again. Jones and Miller back to passes. McDonald, he's going to launch one up. He's double covered and incomplete. Great coverage by Dylan Bogart and number 44, Brady McCoon.
Yeah, Dylan was going to make that a hard pass to fit in, but not only that, Brady did a good job of turning his hips back and helping out his corner on that play.
And just like that, it's 3rd down and 10 yards to go. I couldn't see who the pass was intended for. Number 4. Pass was intended for number 4, Cedric Pettiford. And it's 3rd down and a long 10 here. Do they just run the ball? You give the ball back to Kellen, he's going to try to score.
You're going to have to try to pick up the first down.
2-back set. McDonald under center. Man in motion is Jones. Ball is going to be handed off up the middle for Miller. He's going to get out across the 30 to the 31, and it's still going to be 4th down and about 6 yards to go. Wilmington is going to use their first timeout, though. 1:08 is left here in our first half. We take this timeout to thank Bill Marine, Ford, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep are proud sponsors for Hurricane Football on WALHradio.com. They offer great new car lines as well as quality reconditioned used cars. Stop by at 1182 West Main Street in Wilmington next to the fairgrounds or call the friendly staff at 937-382-3858 for great new and used cars and service on your current vehicle. That's Bill Marine, Ford, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep, 1182 West Main Street, Wilmington. We have a score update, Rick.
Yeah, it looks like Chillicothe is out ahead of Clinton Massey again, 12-7. Now, I don't know where that extra PAT came because it looks like they must have updated it. It was 6-6 there for a while, but it's 12-7. Chillicothe over Clinton Massey, and another score we've got here. Well, let's see. Washington Courthouse is over Greenfield, 13-2.
Bogart is going to receive this one to the 36. Jukes 2 men out of their shoes. Stays on his feet. Dylan Bogart, he's got a chance. He's got one man to beat. There goes Dylan Bogart across the 20, the 25, down inside the 20-yard line. And Wilmington will take over inside the red zone after that great punt return.
Dylan flashed a lot of speed on that play, but he did a great job of showing patience and staying behind his blockers and letting that blocking develop so he could get downfield.
And AJ needs, I think he needs some oxygen here, AJ.
13-0 who?
It's 12-7, Chillicothe over Clinton Massey, and it's also Greenfield 13, or Washington Courthouse 13, Greenfield 2.
And keep in mind, if Clinton Massey does in fact win that game, it won't have any playoff implications for the Hurricane because they are in different divisions.
We don't have to talk about that till after this game. After this game, we can talk all we want. Here we go. Trips out to the left side. Matt Credit is in the pistol. Jerry Johns, the workhorse behind him. Credit, back to pass. Under pressure, gets away from it. He's going to roll out, throw this one away. And there's a flag down. What's the flag for? An eligible receiver downfield. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty against Wilmington, and it's going to be first down and 15.
That happens sometimes when your quarterback gets out of the pocket. Your offensive linemen end up getting down the field trying to block guys and protect their quarterback. He threw the pass, so that drew the flag. But still, it was smart. It was a smart play by Matt Credit throwing the ball away because nothing was there. I think he was looking for his man running a deep corner route on the left side of the field, but he got pressure from the left side, so he rolled out right.
Well, first and 15. Trips out to the left. 44 seconds left to play in our first half. Wilmington trying to put more points on the board. Credit is in the pistol. Johns gets the play action. Fires across the middle. Andy Ely complete. He takes a shot down to the 15. That's a gain of 10, and it's going to be second down and 5. They're going to hurry it up here. Same formation, 30 seconds. Play action again. Credit under pressure. He gets away from it. He's going to take off. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and Wilmington's going to take a timeout with 17 seconds left. It's going to be third down and 5 after the timeout. That's their second timeout.
Well, Matt evaded a couple tacklers in the backfield there, but Miami Trace did a pretty good job of containing him on that play. He wasn't able to extend that play. I want to talk about one of the reasons why Wilmington has been lining up in trips on the left or right side of the field is because they're utilizing crossing routes that cross each other literally, that create separation for the man-on-man defense, and we've seen that happen with the quick slant so much.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of quick slants go the way for the Hurricane tonight. And, that's the way you got to play against this 5-man front. There's 5 defensive linemen. You're going to have to get the ball out there quick, and Credit's done a great job of it. But, These last couple drives, though, he's been getting pressured a lot.
The 5-2 defense creates a lot of confusion because you have one-on-one blocking assignments between the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman, which creates free space for the linebackers to come into the backfield and make a play. So really, it's just a matter of time before they get to the quarterback. So Matt Credit has to get rid of the quarterback before those linebackers are able to fill gaps and get into the backfield.
I imagine what they're going to do here is there'll be one more pass attempt, and then they'll probably go for the field goal.
I think Constant will kick this one.
Simply because of the time.
3 wide receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Credit is in the pistol with Johns behind him. Credit takes the snap, rolling out to the left. He's looking downfield. He's going to find someone, and he's going to be sacked. Back at the 24, Wilmington's got to take another timeout with 10 seconds, and it's going to be 4th and long. That's their final timeout.
Yeah, they roll him out to the left that time. They try to buy him enough time to pass, but I really didn't see anybody open on that play.
No, and the only mistake he made was not trying to get rid of the ball. Obviously, taking the sack puts him further out as far as a field goal attempt.
Yeah, sometimes you either take the sack, live to play another down, but on that situation, you throw the ball away and, keep your team in better field position. If they were going to kick a field goal here, I would have to imagine it'd probably be about a 40-yard field goal.
Well, Matt is such a fighter. He wants to keep looking and trying to find that open man. And
Look
that
who's
time
on the
he
field.
looked a little too much.
Ben Constant is going to come out to attempt this long field goal.
Ben Constant, he's also a soccer player. He has a pretty good leg. Let's see if he can drill this one.
If he makes this one, that'll put Wilmington up by 7.
Is that Wilmington College math?
It's my math. It's going to be a 40-yard field goal.
From the left hash.
We've seen him do this in pregame a lot. Credit is going to have the snap, and they're going to freeze him.
Chillicothe.
Bartlett's going to take a timeout.
Well, that shows a little respect, doesn't it?
If you have to ice a kicker in high school, you know he's good.
Well, in icing the kicker, that's really up for debate if it really works or not. It doesn't even bug some guys. I guess
it's more mental than it is physical.
Yeah, but you can't let something like that get you. Sports is all about overcoming adversity, and this is just a little thing that kickers have to overcome.
And they failed, so that's why it's 12-7.
And that is right. Greenfield got a safety.
And it's Chillicothe or Courthouse 13. And
but speaking of icy, cold, rainy game like this, it's important for athletes on the sideline to keep moving and stay warmed up because that increases the chance for injury when you get cold and tight.
He's not going to kick it. Constant's coming off the field. Kellen's going to play it aggressive here and go for it. I don't blame him. Why not take 6? Try to get a first down. You don't have any timeouts. You'd have to line up real quick or get out of bounds. But, it's totally possible right now with 10 seconds. So that's enough time for 2 plays.
Well, it may be that Trace will kick themselves for trying to ice the kicker, right?
4 wide receivers. Credits in the pistol. That's a second timeout taken by Trace.
Yeah, their defense didn't look ready for that. They weren't set up. They were still aligning in their man defense. They had players pointing to guys lined up in the slot. They weren't in the position that they needed to be.
Rain falling still here at Townsend Field at Williams Stadium. My name's AJ Ganger alongside Rick Phillips and Ethan Rudd here for this Miami Trace Wilmington Hurricane football game. We're 10 seconds away from halftime. Coming up at halftime, we'll let you listen in on the bands and also get you the halftime report before we start back up.
I had to swim out to the car to get my cable so I could recharge my cell phone.
4th down, 13 yards to go for Wilmington. Just 10 ticks left until halftime. Both teams are out of timeouts. We're going to have 4 wide receivers. 2 of the receivers are tight ends on the right. 2 of them is Andy Ely and Dylan Bogart on the left. Back to pass. Credit's going to throw this one for the end zone, and Harley McPherson. Where's the pass interference? Pass interference. Harley McPherson almost would have made a great catch, but that's interference. It's going to be half the distance, and it's going to be 1st down with 4 seconds left. Then you just put the field goal in.
He targeted one of his big tight ends on a go route on that time, and he got the man coverage that he was looking for. The defender panicked a little. Long passes like that are very difficult to defend when you're a young corner and you're on an island. He didn't get his head around. He couldn't locate the ball, so he just put his hands up and he ran into his own guy.
And obviously, I think that when you look at it, if Wilmington elects to kick the field goal, Trace will probably feel like they dodged a bullet.
Well, that hurts. Yeah, it's still fourth down. I guess in high school they have to actually make the yardage. Now it's 4th down and 1. Ben Constant will come in and kick the field goal. This one a little shorter. This one is going to be about a 29-yard attempt. Matt Credit to hold this one. Ben Constant to kick it. He's almost in the center of the field. Snaps down, kicks up, end over end. I think he got this one. And
looks good.
He just pushed it. He pushed it to the left. That's going to take us to halftime. And our score at the half, Wilmington 10 and Miami Trace 0 as both teams head to the locker room.
6. Miami Trace 6. Well, Trace did dodge a bullet that time.
They dodged a huge bullet. That was a great first half of high school football. We still have 24 more minutes left to go in this one. Wilmington's looking great, but they're looking good, but not great, I should say.
Yeah, this 5-2 defense is frustrating them, I think. And both defenses really have bended, but they haven't broke. The 5-2 defense it's created confusion up front for the Wilmington offensive line. They've played pretty well for the most part in picking up the blitz and buying enough time for Matt Credit to get rid of the ball. But again, we've said this before, the 5 defensive line front, that creates one-on-one matchups with the offensive line, and they're always sending another backer or two. So it's just a matter of time before the backers get to the quarterback. It's a matter of time of can Matt Credit get the ball off or not.
And the scores at halftime, Chillicothe 12, Clinton Massey 7, and Washington Courthouse 13, Greenfield 2. We will continue to try to get updates on other SCOL scores.
And, this is the 4th SCOL game. This has big intentions, as we were talking about earlier. Implications, that's what I meant to say. Big implications, as in playoff picture. You said Wilmington is now 8th in their region, which, the top 8 teams will get in. And Wilmington's Division 3. And, that would be great for Wilmington to get into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, being ranked 8th and having only 8 teams in the region move on to the playoffs, they can't lose any ground.
The only thing that stinks is they're going to play a 1 for being an 8.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, at this time, we're going to turn it over to the bands here at halftime. This, right now, is the Miami Trace Panther Band. And coming up in just a few moments will be the Wilmington High School Hurricane Band.
It's still 13-2. 13-2 is the halftime score. And that Massey score is at half. Still 12-7. That's the Massey. They're losing.
races than one loss.
Next time I'll bring my bucket. I'll make some Halloween shirts. I use a cookie cutter. Try to make my son
Thanks to the Miami Trace marching band for halftime entertainment tonight.
It's more like something green. Okay. You hadn't have been giving her a back massage. She would have been distracted enough to get my order right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the pride of Wilmington marching band for your halftime entertainment. Tonight, the band will be playing their 2014 competition show, Light and Joy.
Put the show on Tuesday night. We couldn't get it like on live stream or anything. So we put it on SoundCloud. That sounds great.
what you have to do is you have
Oh,
to,
yeah, you gotta make it an MP3 or.
you either have to make it an MP3 or if you play it as an MP4, you got to actually include a little thumbnail or something so that it looks like a video. Then they'll put it up.
Did you see the last time?
No. I heard it made one.
Well, I mean, San Francisco and Seattle made it to the NFC Championship game, and both those teams were winners.
Their defense is what you should need.
Seattle were actually break that the way they're playing, they'll be Pittsburgh this week. Whenever Jim Brown was playing, or whenever they
Or Leroy Kelly, or they had some some teams there. Yeah, I can remember as a sophomore in varsity club, we went up to Cleveland to see a Browns game. The only thing I can remember, two things. There was a place called anyway, it was downtown. And Roxy or something like that. So you would understand what it was. And so all the varsity club goes to the Roxy. This was the night before the game. So we get on this train, that goes in and people looked at us like we were a gang or something. We just had our varsity jackets on, but they were like scared. We get on the, and then the other thing that was interesting, the hotel we were staying at, Werner von Braun, a German scientist that invented the rocket. He was in the hotel at the same time. But anyway, so we go to the Roxy the first night, and then we go to the game. All I can remember is everybody had paper bags. We were sitting in the end zone, they were all drinking out of their paper bags. They played the Giants that game, but I don't remember who won.
Wow, who's the Browns fan out there?
I'm a Cowboys fan.
All right, I'll give you credit for that, but you got to take off that nasty hat. They suck.
I think I'm a Bengals fan.
That's even worse.
Hey, we're leading your division now, boy.
Bengals got smacked in the mouth because they didn't play anybody.
Welcome back here. We're at halftime here at Townsend Field at Williams Stadium. Here with Miami Trace trailing 10-6 against the Wilmington Hurricane. Guys, that was a hard-nosed hitting defensive first half, I should say, from both teams.
Yeah, well, there's no question that Trace has given Wilmington all it can handle. And let's just hope that their running game doesn't continue to be established like it was towards the end of that first half, because they were starting to get into a rhythm, and they can be dangerous when they're running the ball. If Wilmington can continue to make them one-dimensional, make them pass the ball, that is where Wilmington can come out the winner on this game tonight.
And, going off of what Rick said, when an offense establishes the run, like Miami Trace was doing a little bit towards the end of the first half, it's so hard to predict what they're going to do next, because they hit you up the middle a few times, and then they pitch it outside, and they catch you blitzing inside, and then as we saw them when they score the touchdown, they hit you with play action, and they catch you being over-aggressive, and they freeze the linebackers.
Now, guys, we've also seen Wilmington only score 10 points in the first half, the lowest points total in a first half all season long. What do you guys think was the factor in them only scoring 10 points?
I think the 5-2 defense has proven to be a very difficult nut to crack so far. The 5 defensive linemen allow them to match up mano-a-mano with the offensive linemen, and they're blitzing 1-2 backers every play. It's just a matter of time before that linebacker comes in free because there's nobody else to block them unless if they keep in an additional blocker like a tight end or a running back. And we've seen them, they haven't passed it down the field so much as what we've normally seen them by this time in the game. They've resorted to quick passes, which has been pretty successful so far.
And we've only seen one pass for a touchdown in this game already. It was Matt Credit floating one in there for Dylan Bogart. That's pretty much their longest pass of the entire game.
Save for that play, Miami Trace has played some very great man-to-man defense. Their secondary's played pretty lights out so far. They're sticking to their guys' hips. And besides that play, they've done a pretty good job of locating the ball and seeing where the quarterback is looking.
I think what will be interesting this second half is to see, as we've talked before, Wilmington is a very well-conditioned team on both sides of the ball. And what will be interesting to see, because obviously we don't know that much about Miami Trace or just how conditioned that team is, in looking at the scoring, it appeared to me that Miami Trace scored most of its points in the first half, and then it tailed off. So if that has something to do with conditioning, so be it. We'll just have to wait till the second half and see what happens.
And, also we heard on Tuesday night from Scott Kellen that Miami Trace is really good at holding the ball for 8 minutes. And, in a 12-minute quarter, that's a long, long time. But recently, all night long, we've seen Wilmington hold the ball for 5-6 minutes at a time. That's something we don't normally see. We only normally see them hold the ball, for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. What do you think is factoring into them having the greater time of possession?
Wilmington hasn't been able to get that big play that normally springboards their offense. They've had to resort to quick passes because Miami Trace has been playing some really solid man defense, and also because this 5-man front with a linebacker or 2 blitzing hasn't given Matt Credit enough time to let long plays like deep posts, deep corners, and go routes develop.
I agree. I think that it's that Trace defense that has made this score as close as it is.
Well, guys, we got just about a minute and a half here until the second half starts up. One of the more surprising scores right now, the 4-2 Chillicothe Cavaliers are up 12-7 against defending 2-time state champs. That other team.
Well, I think that just in going back to last year, I think that when you look at when Clinton Massey, that team that we won't name but I'll name, when Clinton Massey Lee Hindy and I did the game there at Columbus DeSales. And DeSales had 2 losses as well when they played Massey. It was a little earlier in the season, but the point is, I think that, what I saw at least in that game was that DeSales ran the ball well, and their defense kept Massey from running the ball, which was what Massey liked to do. And I would say that what they're probably incurring is much that same type of game with Chillicothe. And it's something, obviously, that we'll be playing them the last game of the season, something that, you'll want to look at the film carefully, so that you make sure that you don't end up having that buzzsaw cut you down.
Well, Ethan, what do you feel has been the most important thing, I would say, Wilmington only scoring 10 points. Do you think it's, they're playing at a slower pace is because of the weather issues? Do you think they're looking ahead to next week? What do you think is going on here?
I think it's been the defense, and it's been a tale of 2 defenses today. And I really like this game so far. It's still a close game, and both of these defenses are being really aggressive, and they're getting after the ball, and they're executing their assignments. They're not getting beat, and they're playing heady.
Yeah, and I think that, from my perspective as far as the game, yes, I would rather see a game that goes back and forth, that's close, that's sort of a nail-biter. As long as we come out ahead at the end, that's all that matters. Butler was a very similar game. It was back and forth and back and forth. And Butler is very much like Trace in that they were fairly one-dimensional. They were a running team. When they passed, they got into trouble. Now, Trace hasn't made the errors, and Wilmington hasn't gotten the interceptions that they did with Butler. But it's been much that type of a game in the team. Look.
Well, they haven't gotten those interceptions like they did against Butler. They're not passing the ball. And Wilmington is daring them to pass the ball the entire time. On defense, they're just, I'm gonna blitz, the entire time. And Kellen's sitting there saying, I dare you to throw the ball, because if you do, you're going to make a mistake. And they haven't thrown the ball, and with that, they're 3 yards in a cloud of dust has become, make it a 5 yards in a cloud of dust.
And really, there haven't been many mistakes that either team has made. They've played fairly error-free. No big mistakes that would turn the tide of the game one way or the other.
I mean, the only big mistakes that we've saw, there was a roughing the passer on Wilmington's first drive against Miami Trace. There was that pass interference call in the end zone right before halftime. There was an ineligible receiver downfield against Wilmington that we thought was an intentional grounding, which it shouldn't have been, even if that what it was. But I mean, we like he said, there's been no turnovers, even though it's been rainy. No one's fumbled the ball yet, and just it's a very clean played game from both sides.
Yeah, I think whichever defense rises to the occasion will win their respective team this ball game. Whichever defense gets that big turnover, whatever defense doesn't allow the other team to score touchdowns, hold them to field goals or hold them to the 40-yard line.
I think if this game stays the way that it is now, the defense that's on the field last will win the game. Defense wins championships, and I'm telling you, with these two defenses out there right now, that's the way it's going to have to be at the end of this game.
Obviously, defenses don't score most of the time, but they certainly ultimately, if you look at any team that plays football, whether you're talking professional, whether you're talking high school or college, the defensive teams are the teams that always stand out and that always have the best records, because defense does stop offense the same way good pitching stops good hitting.
Well, we're just a few seconds away here. Wilmington is going to kick off to begin the second half as they received to begin the ball game, and Miami Trace is going to get the ball first. What do you guys think Trace is going to try to come out and do here in the second half? Punch Wilmington right in the nose and try to put some points on the board, obviously, but what do you think their schemes are going to be offensively?
I think Miami Trace is going to try to set up a steady, progressive drive, focused on the run, and if there is a big play, it'll probably be off a play action or an outside run. Yeah,
I think that Trace will definitely try to establish the run again here in the second half, and this will be, I predict, a big drive for both teams. I think that, the fact that Trace is going to have the ball, they're only down by 4 points. This drive is going to be very important to the whole game tonight.
To receive the kickoff from Ben Constant, we're going to have number 1, Brad Wardock, and number 2, Derek Markham. Guys, 24 minutes left in this contest. This hard-hitting defensive contest. It's 10-6 Wilmington. We are going to be in for a great finish here tonight at Townsend Field at Williams Stadium. Again, you're listening to us live on WALHradio.com. My name's AJ Ganger, alongside Ethan Rudd and Rick Phillips for this one on the beautiful Wilmington College campus that has been soaked by rain all day long. It started out as sprinkles, and then I started walking over to the stadium from my house and was like, yeah, it's going to be rainy all game.
Well, here we go. Second half ready to start. Wilmington kicking off.
Markham and Wardock is going to receive this one. This one's going to bounce over the head of Markham. Markham falls on it at the 1 yard line. He thought he got his feet into the end zone, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways. That could have been a safety.
That's right. It was very close to being a safety.
And in high school, it's not where the player is, it's where the ball is.
Right, yeah.
Well, men in black defense back on the field. They're going to take over on the 2 yard line is Miami Trace. Might as well blitz. Just watch for around the corner.
Let's see if the tide rushes in.
I don't think they're going to have much room to go around the corner. They're going to have to try to push this straight up the field. If they go around the corner, they could end up, in dire straits as far as a safety.
Two-back set, McDonald under center, 2 receivers. This one is going to be handed off. Jeremiah Jones got it and just got back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 2nd down and 2.
At the line of scrimmage, the defensive lineman did a pretty good job of clogging the lanes, and then the linebackers filled the gaps in. He didn't have any room to run up the middle.
2nd down, 10 yards to go.
Miami Trace has to get some room here to work with.
This is the second time all game Trace has been backed up on its own end. Wilmington's defense wants 2 points, and I know they do. Jones is going in motion, leaving Miller with the lone back, and Miller's going to get it, and he's going to push just out to the 4 yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and long upcoming for the Panthers. You don't want to take a risk and pass.
I think the Hurricanes smell blood, so this is their stand. If they can make a statement here, this may reflect for the rest of the second half.
The momentum will definitely be on their side. It already is after that botched kickoff recovery. Two-back set. Jones and Miller in the backfield, two receivers. McDonald under center. Back to pass, straight drop back pass, fires! It's almost intercepted! He had it in his hands and dropped it.
Once again, what we're seeing is one dimension. They forced them to make a pass, and obviously that was very dangerous. It could have been a walk-in.
Chris McEvoy was the one who almost picked that one off.
I think we saw the zone scheme turning to man on that play because it wasn't a deep route, and they keep the play in front of them. They see where the quarterback's throwing it, and three guys are on that one receiver.
Exactly.
At the same time.
Yeah, that's
Mans
right.
is going to be standing in the back of his own end zone, kicking to. It was blocked! It was blocked! And Wilmington's going to get it. What a way to get a hand on that ball and take over inside the red zone to begin the second half.
Punting off of a short field like that can spell disaster, and it just did.
Well, maybe we should call them the Wilmington Sharks.
They're playing
Because
some
the water's in the water.
beamer ball. They've been playing beamer ball all day long with the special teams. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's Virginia Tech's head coach is known for his special teams, and his name is Frank Beamer, and we call special teams beamer ball. Wilmington's going to take over on the 13-yard line now. They're 2 for 4 in the red zone tonight. They've had a missed field goal right there at the end of the half and a turnover on downs, and the other two was a field goal attempt made by Ben Constant and the touchdown, obviously, to Dylan Bogart. They're going to start in the pistol or in the shotgun formation with trips out to the left. John's in at running back. Credit's going to take the snap. He's going to keep it himself. It's a quarterback draw all the way. There's a flag down. Matt Credit is down inside the 5. And he's going to be brought down to 1, but this is going to be a hold against Wilmington. That was an early hold.
Yeah, and you saw it too. The guy just got around him, and he went outside the pads on that play, and he got a hold of his jersey.
After the penalty, Wilmington's going to be backed up now at the 23-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 20. Rick, you got something for me?
Well, we've got a halftime score. Hillsborough and East Clinton 0-0. They were having some problems with the lights out there, and maybe they're playing in the dark. I don't know. 0-0, East Clinton and Hillsborough.
1st and 20. Pistol formation, trips out to the right side. This time they're going to option it. Credit's going to keep it himself. Across the 20, dives forward back to the 17-yard line. That's a good pickup there by Credit, and a good job to keep that ball and take off with it.
Yeah, Miami Trace was trying to cut off the edge of that play and limit his option to pitch the ball. So he decided to cut in, and he found some room to run in the middle of the field. Good decision by Matt Credit.
15.
It's going to be second down and about 15 yards to go for the Hurricane. Pistol formation, trips out to the right side, one receiver to the left. It's Ely. Credit in the pistol. Drops back to pass. It's a screen play. Jerry Johns, the ball was tipped, but he held on to it. He maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, though. He took a big shot right there. It's going to be 3rd down and long.
Yeah, another different scheme up front by Miami Trace on that play. They were standing guys up, and they sat some guys down in a three-point stance, and that way it makes it harder to determine which side of the field the pressure is coming from. And that time you got guys dropping back and blitzing at the same time. Kind of exotic for a high school blitz.
You know, Wilmington definitely wants to get 6 points on this possession here. No more of these 3 points. You know, late in the game, you got to score 6 instead of 3.
And if Miami Trace can hold them to a field goal or hold them 4 and out, it would be huge after nearly avoiding disaster.
4 receivers. Credit's going to take the snap, rolling out the pass, fires for Ely, and just overthrows his intended receiver, just a little too high. He was double coverage, but he almost put it right where his receiver could only catch it, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, the route developed kind of strangely. I don't know if that was a go route or a timing route, because he did come back to his quarterback. Maybe he saw the double coverage and cut his route short.
Ben Constant, who's 1 for 2 today, is going to come back out onto the field.
Yeah, I think Wilmington's looking for points here, because if they can get the 3, they can go up by 7, which is 1 touchdown.
Constant, this one is going to be about a 28-yard field goal. He's hit from about 23. He missed from about 29.
It'd be big if he can make this because it'd put it up by 1 score, so they wouldn't be surrendering the lead.
Actually, this is a 34-yard field goal. My bad. Kick is up. End over end. He's got it. And that one is good. Clint Constant with the 33-yard field goal puts Wilmington up 13-6 with 8 minutes and 42 seconds left in our third quarter.
And like I said, it's a big score. They get 3 points. They wish they would have gotten a touchdown, but they still get 3 points, which puts them up a full score. So if Miami Trace were to score a touchdown, they wouldn't be surrendering a lead, which is a big morale boost, really.
I'd kick an onside kick right now. Ben Constant will kick this one off. Number 1, Brad Warnock, and number 2, Derek Markham, is going to be back to receive Constant's punt or kickoff. My bad, it's number 7 back there with him, Trey Pettiford. 8:42 left in the third. The momentum is back on Wilmington's side. It's only the third time tonight we've heard that cannon go off, as Wilmington is now 3 of 5 inside the red zone. That's 60%. Constant's kick is another squib kick. Bobbled and picked up at the 27. There's a flag down. Number 36, Bailey Allen, picked that one up. He got out to the 40, but this one may be going back for a hold or a block in the back. It's going to be a hold against the Panthers, so that's going to back them up 10. And they're going to start from the 30 instead of the 40. That 10 yards could be the difference right there.
But right now, it looks like Miami Trace is imploding. You know, they're making the kinds of penalties and mistakes that obviously they didn't need to be doing starting the second half. And it's got to be a little troubling for their coach if they continue along this tack, because Wilmington is now starting to take advantage of every mistake they make.
2-back set, 2 receivers also. Jones and Miller in the backfield, McDonald under center. Jones comes in motion. The pitch is going to go to Miller on the far side. He breaks one free, and McCoon is going to push him out.
Wilmington had 8 men in the box that time. They were looking for run all the way. They just didn't get the seal on the edge of that time.
That's a gain of 16 yards out to the 46-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for Miami Trace.
Got a timeout on the field.
Yeah, the equipment malfunction on a Wilmington D lineman. First down, 10 yards to go, 2-back set again. 2 receivers, McDonald under center. They fakes the pitch, hands it up the middle, and it's going absolutely nowhere. Jeremiah Jones was on the carry for the Panthers, and it's 2nd and 9. We've heard his name a lot tonight.
He's carried the ball a lot tonight. This offense is focused so much on the ground game, and they're
I
not
was talking about McEvoy.
Oh.
Chris. 2nd and 9. Pitch is going to go again to the far side. Miller just gets across midfield into Wilmington territory. It's going to be 3rd and 6. They need to get it down to the 44-yard line. I was talking about McAvoy, my bad. 3rd down and 6 from midfield.
Yeah, Clinton Massey is now up 15-12 over Chillicothe. They missed a 2-point conversion.
3rd and 6. 2 receivers out to the right. Jones going in motion. It's a pass. Man is wide open. Bogart makes the play. What a play by Dylan Bogart to stop it. Number 4, Cedric Pettiford, the little guy. He was beat, but he never gave up on the play.
Yeah, Cedric needs to pull that ball in. His team is looking for a big play, and that bounced right off of his hands. I mean, the play was there. They caught Wilmington being very aggressive in their pursuit to the ball. the play was there. That's something they have to make if they want to stay in this game.
Andy Ely is going to be back to receive Nick Mann's punt. He's standing on the 16. The punt is going to take a bounce. And Wilmington is going to take over at the 22-yard line, or 21-yard line, first down and 10. We've already seen them with one possession, and they started out in great field position, and they nailed a field goal already.
Yeah, Miami Trace's defense, they can't give up another score here. They have to help out their offense and keep this game within striking distance, within one score. Yeah.
It's going to be first down and 10 for the Hurricane. 7:03 remaining in our third quarter. They got it at the 22. Pistol offset. Two receivers. John's the running back. Credit in the pistol. Credit is going to hand it off to Johns. Great block by Fisher as Johns propels forward across the 25 to the 26 for a gain of around 4.
Yeah, we see Andy Fisher get handoffs sometimes, especially late in games, but he's also their offset back, and he plays fullback a lot. And really, he springs some of these big runs, so credit to Andy Fisher.
That was a great block there on the defensive end. They're going to line up in the same formation again on second down and 6. This time, Credit's going to throw a quick pass behind Andy Ely. It's incomplete, and it's third down and 6 already.
Yeah, the Wilmington keeps it up with the quick pass, and they try to get a bit of a timing route. A little hitch right there, but he underthrew that, and the timing was maybe just a bit off. You want to throw that ball as soon as your receiver, right before he comes out of his break, and that will give him enough separation between him and the defensive back, ideally.
Dylan Bogart coming into the game for Fisher. Third down and 6. Twins out to the right, one receiver out to the left. In the pistol is Matt Credit. Back to pass. Looking, fires, and it's incomplete. Andy Ely was the intended receiver on the far side. And it's fourth down for Wilmington.
Yeah, really, Matt Credit didn't have anywhere to go to on that play, I think. He had a slant route. He tried to hit Andy on the slant route, and then it looked like Dylon was running, it looked like almost a route that you would run on a bubble screen, but there weren't any blockers there. Maybe it was a wheel route that was developing, but there just wasn't anything there. Tight man defense again.
Warnock and Markham are going to receive Credit's punt as he's standing. What a punt. That's a high spiraling kick. He's going to be brought down at the 45-yard line. First down and 10. That was a nice punt, but not as far as probably what he would have liked it.
Yeah, high punt, but it didn't go as far as he would have liked. The returner didn't call for a fair catch there. He's lucky that ball didn't end up on the turf because he took a hit as soon as he caught the ball.
Well, Miami Trace coaches said that he's called, but I didn't see one. You got to get your hand above your shoulder pad.
I didn't see him call for the fair catch either.
First down and 10 with 6:23 remaining in our third quarter. We got two receivers in a two-back set. McDonald's going to be under center. Jones is going to go in motion. Flag is down on the play.
And that flag came out almost as soon as they took the snap on that play.
Miller took the handoff, and it's a sideline warning against Wilmington. So that was just a warning. He picks up 6, and it's going to be second down and 4 as they're inside Wilmington territory at the 49. McDonald under center again with two receivers. Jones and Miller. This time, Miller's going to go in motion. This one up the middle as Jones breaks free, and he's brought down at the 41-yard line by Brady McCoon, and it's a first down for Panthers.
You know, whenever they've sent Miller out in motion like that, it seems like it's either been a stretch play or a pitch play. But that time, that almost serves as a form of misdirection, not in the fact that it's a misdirect handoff, but in the fact that it directs the defense away from where the play is going, because he actually ran up the middle that time.
Two back set again. McDonald's going to hand this one to Jones on the left side. He gets out across the 35 to the 33-yard line. A nice pickup of around 7.
more physical running. This Wilmington defense has been out there a lot, and they've gotten the ball pounded against them. They've had some success. Most of that success came earlier in the game. They have to step up and stay disciplined. I know it's hard playing in the rain like this, but they have to fill their gaps and execute assignments.
2nd and 3. This one is going to go to Miller. Oh, and he gets stuffed in the hole by Mark Huff. What a play by the big guy, your favorite player on this defense.
Yeah, well, I just talked about they need to fill their gaps and stay disciplined. Well, he stayed in his gap, and he filled his gap and brought down the ball carrier. Great stop by Mark Huff.
It's going to be 3rd down and a long one, about 1.5 yards for the Panthers. Clock now under 4:40 in counting left to play in our 3rd quarter. 13-6 Wilmington. We're going to 2-back set again. Watch the sweep. This one's going to be handed off to Miller, who's going to get the 1st down out to the 30-yard line. Where it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Panthers.
It's so frustrating to give up 3rd and shorts like that to a team that runs so heavy.
But if you give them 3rd and shorts, they're going to make them. You give them 3rd and longs, more than likely they're not going to pick up 3rd and longs as often as 3rd and short.
Yeah, we talked about it was one of the keys to the game. You have to get off the field on 3rd down. It makes it so much more difficult when you can't stop the run, and Miami Trace keeps getting it in 3rd and short situations.
Jones goes in motion. They're going to do the same play to Miller, and Miller's going to get about 2 yards to the 27-yard line.
Well, that's a better job. They limited him to a shorter gain on that play. Remember, stay disciplined, execute your assignments, fill the gaps, shut down the runner.
It's going to be 2nd down and 8 yards to go for the Panthers.
Miami Trace they've pounded the ball up the middle. Watch for a stretch play or a pitch play on this play. You can't over-pursue the ball.
And there goes Jones in motion. They're going to hand it right off again up the middle with Miller. He's going to get just across the 25 to the 24.5-yard line. It's 3rd and 5. Need to get just inside the 20 for a 1st down.
Well, on 3rd down, you're going to have to contain a run. If they're going to run this down, it's probably going to be on the outside. But we've seen them pass on 3rd down also, and we've also seen them give it to the running back to throw it down the field on 3rd down.
3 minutes left in our 3rd quarter and counting. There goes Jones in motion again. This one is going to be the pitch. He gets across the 25, stretches forward, and they're going to give him, it looks like, the 1st down. As Trace is now back inside the red zone for the 2nd time this evening.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have gotten that 1st down if his left tackle wouldn't have thrown a big block on that play.
1st down at the 19-yard line. Clock's going to run when the chains get set. That's at 2:53, and now it's going to stay at 2:53. 3rd quarter, 13-6. They need a touchdown and a field goal extra point to tie this one up. 2-back set for Trace. 2 receivers again. McDonald under center. This one is a misdirection play for Miller. And he's going to get knocked down at the 17-yard line. It's a gain of 1 yard, maybe 2. It's 2nd down. 3 yards in a cloud of dust can't be more telling here in the 2nd half.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you got to wonder which team is making the other team play their style of football.
2nd and 9. Jones in motion. Pitch play out to the left from Miller. And look at that contain. He bounces off a couple of them, but he brings them down at the 16-yard line. A better defensive stand right there.
Yeah, they contained that run pretty well, didn't they? And that time they got more defenders on the edge of the offensive line, and they didn't let that pitch play develop at all.
He just picked up 1 yard. It's 3rd and 8.
I'd say this is 4-down territory anyway. I don't see them trying to kick a field goal. They want to tie this game up.
It's been the same formation all day long. McDonald, there's a timeout. And that's Miami Trace's 1st timeout with 1 minute and 44 seconds remaining in our 3rd quarter. We would like to thank Wilmington Savings Bank It's your hometown banking solution located at 184 North South Street near downtown Wilmington. Phone them at 937-382-1659 or stop by and visit Tom Burns and their friendly staff. They have expanded internet banking and bill paying solutions. Personal and business accounts and lending services are available too. Wilmington Savings Bank, 184 North South Street, Wilmington, Ohio.
You know, a couple plays ago I asked which team is making the other team play their style of football, and what I meant by that is that Wilmington is the type of team that makes other teams play their type of football, up-tempo, and they also create turnovers on defense. They make you one-dimensional. But, you know, Miami Trace hasn't shied away from running the ball, and Wilmington hasn't made them one-dimensional at all.
They want to make you pass, is Wilmington's defense. That's what Kellen wants to make you do.
I think
and
that
on this 3rd and long, they might have to.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing here is probably Trace forcing Wilmington to play their game, because Wilmington is not up-tempo tonight. They're very methodical, very slow.
Miller's going in motion. Jones on the play action. Incomplete. Bogart slipped, so the man was wide open. Number 4 was the intended receiver, Cedric Pettiford. I might have gotten knocked down at the line. It's 4th down. They're going to have to go for it unless they're going to kick a long field goal.
Yeah, I think you got tipped just like you said, AJ, because it didn't have the juice to get to the receiver. The receiver is running another curl route again. That's something that they've been running against this man defense. The curl route has to have really solid timing or else it's a dangerous pass.
4th and long. The crowd getting loud here at Williams Stadium.
This is critical.
Goes in motion. Drops back to passes McDonald. He throws one up in the air. Bogart made a play. What a play by the little man against the big receiver. Cedric Pettiford is 6'5", and Dylan Bogart's not even 6 foot tall, and he jumped higher than him.
He threw it up where he thought only his receiver was going to grab it, and Wilmington's defense was to the task because obviously even though he wasn't as tall, he certainly jumped up and was able to get that ball tipped away.
That was a freshman against a freshman cornerback against a senior wide receiver, and the freshman had more heart on that play.
Yeah, I think Miami Trace liked what they had on that play. They caught Wilmington playing man-to-man defense like they usually do. They got a much taller receiver on a shorter corner, and they gave him a catchable ball. I mean, it was a jump ball situation. The ball bounced off of his hand, but what about Dylon? He did a great job of locating the ball. I mean, he got his head turned around. That wasn't close to pass interference like we saw down here in the left end zone.
No, this was
Offset
just a great play.
For the Hurricanes. Fisher's back in there. Low snap. Credit is going to keep it. He breaks away from a few tacklers. There's a flag down in the backfield as he gets out just close to the 20-yard line. Let's see what the penalty flag is. Illegal chop block. That's a big penalty. It's still going to be 1st down. I want a sweep. I want them to give Dylon the ball on a sweep. He's been making big plays all day long. We've seen this little guy break free whenever he wants.
He's a speedy receiver. He can turn the corner. We've seen him get jet sweep handoffs, like you said, on sweeps like that. We've seen him catch the ball. We've seen him play defense. Going back to that, that was a great job of not only staying with his man, but locating the ball and then elevating to get the ball and tip it away.
1st and 20 for Wilmington in the pistol formation. 2 receivers are Andy Ely and Dylan Bogart. Back to pass is Matt Credit. He's going to fire this one up for Bogart. Oh, and it's incomplete. Great coverage on the play. He should have had that one. Number 2, Derek Markham, was on the coverage. That was a great pass. Just couldn't haul that one in, and 2nd down.
It was pretty good. It was a pretty good coverage play by Derek there. He kept the play in front of him. He forced his receiver towards the sideline. That sideline is like an extra defender, so it was a good job of him knowing where he was on the field and using that sideline as an extra defender.
It's going to be 2nd and 20 when the play comes in. It looks like they're going to line up 3 wide to the left. In the shotgun formation is Credit. This one is a straight quarterback run the entire way. He's got blockers in front of him. He gets across the 10. Oh, and a hard hit at the end of the play. Gets a no call. He gets out across the 15-yard line to the 17. That was a great run by Credit. That should have been at 15 more at the end of the play.
Yeah, he got some great blocking on that play, and I think the reason why we didn't see a flag there is that he wasn't willfully going out of bounds under his own power.
It's going to be 3rd down and 10 yards to go. They're back at the original line of scrimmage which is the 17-yard line. 1:02 left in our third quarter. Wilmington up by a touchdown, 13-6. Wilmington's going to have to use a timeout as the play clock was running down.
You know, here on 3rd and long, it'd be great if they could pick up the first down, but they at least need to pick up some sort of yardage to help out their punter, which is also Matt Credit, because he's pretty far back in his own territory, and you don't want to give this Miami Trace team the ball at midfield again, down by just one score.
You think they can throw an 8-yard slant and let the receiver pick up the first down?
Yeah, I mean, that could be something that they look to go to, because if Miami Trace brings the blitz again and they bring in some backers to fill the gaps or get around the ends, the middle of the field is going to be open for a slant or something like that, or somebody working in the slot.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are here live at Townsend Field at Williams Stadium for tonight's matchup between the Wilmington Hurricane and the Miami Trace Panthers. Again, my name is A.J. Ganger alongside Ethan Rudd and Rick Phillips. And it's 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Here comes the offense back on the field. Fisher stays on the field. In the pistol. Twins out to the right side. Credit to take the snap. Takes the snap. Gets away from pressure. Credit's going to take off. He gets taken down at the 21-yard line where it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on that play. Again, we're just seeing more guys than there are blockers, and that's a result of Miami Trace playing this 5-2. They're always sending more guys than Wilmington has blockers, and a couple guys got in there untouched, and they pressure Matt Credit. They made him take off with the ball.
Warnock and Markham are going to be back to receive Credit's punt. He's at his own 9. Nice. Kick is up, almost blocked. This one's muffed. The ball was muffed, and he's going to be tackled down at the 45-yard line. Warnock picked it up. Markham muffed it. What a play by Wilmington special teams. That was almost blocked, too. Almost a disaster.
Well, the Wilmington defender actually shoved one of the Trace players.
It was Dylan Bogart, I think, that made the play on that.
There you
I
go.
think it was Jerry Johns, number 24. Yeah, we heard Coach Kellen. He talked about Jerry Johns being one of his gunners on special teams and his ability to get down the field really quickly and make tackles.
Well, another important drive for Trace. They obviously start at their 45.
Two-back set again, McDonald under center. This time he's going to hand the ball off to Jones on the left side, and Jones is going to barrel his way just across midfield into Hurricane territory for a gain of 4. And I think they're going to let this clock run out. And there goes the balloons from the student section, the pink balloons and the confetti. Our score at the end of 3 quarters, Wilmington 13 and Trace 6.
I think that, considering the fact we're in the last quarter of this game, we can give a little bit more insight as to the next game and what we'll be doing special for that game that we haven't done for any of the other games. We have a remote unit that will be out at the stadium. That's at Massey Stadium. And we will be doing not only our live audio broadcast from the Wilmington side in the stands, but we're also going to be taping the game, and it'll be on a tape delay because we can't show it live. That's high school rules for games on Friday night. We will play after the game is over, have the tape available, so not only will you be able to hear our live broadcast through audio, but you'll also be able to see that game broadcast afterwards, and we'll be in the stands the whole game with our announcers, and they will be able to interview Wilmington fans. We'll be able to see everything that's going on and hear everything that's going on the field.
Here we go to begin the fourth quarter. Jones coming in motion for Trace. This one handed off to Miller, and Miller's just going to get forward for a yard. It's going to be 3rd down and 5. It's going to be exciting next week. But for you putting me and Ethan in the stands, you're just,
well, I mean, it could have been worse. We could have put you in the stands over on the Massey side, right?
No! You want us to get eaten alive?
Yeah.
Third down and 5 from the Wilmington 49. This is a big 3rd down play for both teams. This one is going to go to Miller on the right side. He busts forward, and he's got the first down out to the 42-yard line. First down, Miami Trace.
Pretty good initial push by Miami Trace's offensive line in that play. The Wilmington defense team, they just have to swarm to the ball. They have to tackle. They have to hit their gaps, and they have to seal up the offensive line.
And this is where conditioning is going to matter. Obviously, the last quarter, both teams will have to see how that conditioning pays off for them.
There's a flag down on the play. This one's going to be a false start against Trace, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty, and it's going to be 1st and 15 now. You know, Trace has kind of taken over ball control here in the second half, as we haven't seen that at all here in the game so far until this last about half a quarter.
Yeah, it seems like as the game has gone progressively on, it seems like Miami Trace has found a little more room to run, and I think that's them being patient with their ground game and them trusting their backs to find holes, and not only that, but trusting their offensive line to wear a little bit and chip away at this Wilmington defensive line.
And again, we have a timeout on the field. Bogart's Barbecue is at 975 South Street in Wilmington. It's the home for the world-famous Southern Barbecue. At Bogart's Southern Barbecue, serving the best tasting barbecue is our reason for being. Stop by our location and enjoy our fall-off-the-bone tender meat, savory sides, and delicious desserts. We'd be mighty pleased to have you. Bogart's Barbecue, shouting, "Go Canes!" Call them at 937-655-8100 or just stop by for some great Southern barbecue at 975 South Street, Wilmington, Ohio. First down, 15 yards to go as the rain continues to fall harder here at Williams Stadium. Miami Trace will have it 1st and 15 on the 47-yard line, down by a touchdown and an extra point. Two-back set. Back to pass is McDonald. The slant route. Great play on the far side. Brad Keller with that was number 9. Branson Newberry made the stop. Great play by the cornerback.
That was a great play by Branson, getting his hand in there at the last second and knocking away that ball. That's exactly what you want to see. Playing man-to-man defense, you want to see your guys keeping step for step with the opposing wide receivers, stay on their hips. He located the ball and got his hands involved in the play.
On 2nd and 15, the fake pitch goes out to number 14, Russell Miller, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 12 yards to go. They need to get it down to the Wilmington 32-yard line to pick up a first, and they're at the 34 or the 44.
Still no change in the score that we've got. No update. Massey is still leading Chillicothe 15-12. Just a field goal separating those two teams.
3rd down, 12 yards to go. Another big 3rd down. This one is 3rd and long. This one is going to be handed off to Miller, who gets across the 40-yard line and is brought down at the 38-yard line, I'm going to say.
I can't see them trying to go for this.
I bet you they will go for it.
I don't know.
Because it's 4th down and 6 yards to go, and there's only 10 minutes left in that ball game.
Well, if they definitely get stopped here, then
Wilmington needs to control the ball if they get the stop.
This is the
The
game.
crowd is
right
on
here.
their feet. It's 4th down. McDonald is going to hand this one to Miller. He just got it. He just got it to the 31-yard line. What a great second effort by Miller.
Yeah, good job of hitting the hole hard. He uses his momentum to pick up most of those yards on that play. In Miami Trace, they line up with 2 backs in the backfield. We've seen them do misdirection where they send one back going one way and then the other back straight up the middle or to the other opposite side of the field.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. This one is going to be handed off by Miller on the right side. He bounces off a one tackle. He's going to take this one, and he's tripped up inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. Great play by the defender out there to prevent a touchdown.
Kellen preaches tackling on that time, and that time they couldn't bring him down because of a poor tackle.
Trace is going to continue to run that play until Wilmington can show them that they can stop them.
And they've ran the same play 4 times in a row now. It's 1st and goal from the 10. And there's a flag.
False start.
And it's going to be a false start, and they're going to move him back to the 15 where it'll still be first and goal.
Yeah, one of their backs flinched just a bit, but that's all it takes to draw that false start flag.
9 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in this whale of a game tonight, guys. It's 13-6 Wilmington. If Trey scores, that extra point has proven not to be guaranteed in this ball game, so they're going to have to score and get that extra point just to be able to tie this one up. First and goal, and there's another false start.
Here they implode again. You know.
Yeah, I think the kids are nervous. They want to make the play. They know they're down by a touchdown in the red zone, but you've got to avoid those crucial mistakes in the red zone like this when you need a score.
So now it's first and goal from the 20. The psyche of this Wilmington defense in the red zone is you're not going to score on us. We're going to stop you, and it's been like that all season long. McDonald is back to pass. Fires! Incomplete. Great coverage on the far side by Branson Newbury.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good coverage by both teams, and that time Branson did a good job of breaking to the ball on that play and knocking it out again.
Tyree Pettifer was the intended receiver, and it's second down and goal to go.
You know, both of these teams have covered pretty well. They've done a good job of keeping the ball in front of them and locating the ball and then making plays on the ball for the most part.
Second and goal to go. McDonald under center. Miller's going in motion. This is a straight drop back pass. Fires! It's tipped in the air! It's incomplete! Great play by Dylan Bogart. The intended receiver was Cedric Pettiford. They had 3 black jerseys around that one white jersey.
Ball was in the air for a few seconds. Wilmington was
It
hoping to
almost
recover.
got tipped at the line.
Yeah.
It almost got tipped at the line, and it's going to be third and goal from the 20. They still got 2 plays to score or get off the field. Two back set again. Under center is McDonald. The motion man is Jones. It's a pass. It's a halfback pass. He fires it up in the end zone, and he brought it down. What a touchdown. Number 7, Tyree Pettifer, was double covered, and he threw up a prayer, and he made the catch.
I mean, that's that halfback throw again. They pitch it out
Let
to
me
him.
pick your jaw up off the floor. I just saw that.
They let it roll out right. Well, you can tell the running back was reluctant to throw that ball because he saw the double coverage, but then he saw he didn't have any room to run. He knew he just had to take a chance, I guess. So he threw it in there. At least he provided ample enough space for that receiver, Tyree.
Are they going for 2 here?
To give him a chance.
They're going to go for the tie right now. Number 20, Blake Pitzer is in to attempt this extra point. This to tie it up. Wilmington wants to block this kick. Snaps down, kicks up, and it is good. 8 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in regulation, and it's Wilmington 13, Miami Trace 13. What a ball game, guys.
Definitely everybody's on the edge of their seats, regardless of which side of the press box they're on.
I mean, what a play. Tyree went up there and he got the ball. I mean, great extension, getting up there and just grabbing the ball. And I think maybe the Hurricane could have made a better play on that ball. I mean, they had what they wanted. They had 2 black jerseys on a white jersey. He was in double coverage. I think they were going for the pick instead of playing the man, and that allowed him to go up and catch the ball.
Pitzer will be in to kick this one off. Back deep to return the kickoff. Number 25, Dylan Bogart. Number 24, Jerry Johns. Kellen is screaming at his special teams. Watch that onside kick because they might try to kick one here and surprise you. We saw Courthouse do that to begin the ball game last week.
Kellen wants his team to get the ball so they can score. He doesn't want it back in Miami Trace's hands.
Here goes the kickoff. It's a long kick. Bogart is going to take it from the 11-yard line. He had a big return earlier. Bogart's out across the 20, out across the 25, out across the 30. There's a flag down. He's out across the 45-yard line, and he's brought down at the 48, but there's a penalty flag down, and this one's going to be coming back. It's going to be a block in the back. Woo! What a game!
Well, ideally, Wilmington scores on this drive and gives their defense a lead to work with, but it seems like your prediction is coming to some fruition, AJ, as that the last defense on the field may win the game. Whatever team can get their defense to the lead and then let them play with that may determine the outcome of the game.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think it's going to happen that way.
Well, the critical thing right now is Wilmington has to make sure that they don't make any mistakes. This has got to be error-free play for this last 8 minutes and 8 seconds.
They've got 2 timeouts, 8:08. They're on the 25. They got 75 yards to get to pay dirt. They can kick a field goal. We've seen Constant do it all day long. But they got plenty of time to score, and they need to score with as little time left as possible. 3 receivers out to the right as Credit is in the shotgun. Credit is going to roll out to his right. He's under pressure. He reverses his play to field. He's going to take off running. He gets across the 30, and he gets across the 35. He's got a first down and more out to the Wilmington 40-yard line, a gain of 15.
Nice run. Very nice run.
I think what Wilmington was trying to set up is that he was rolling one way, but then he had a receiver running the other way in the flat. I think it was supposed to be a little screenplay because he had 2 blockers in front of him, but Miami Trace stayed at home and they shut that down. So he took off and made a play with his own legs.
1st and 10. This one's going to go to Jerry Jones across the 40. He gets out across the 45 to the 46, a pickup of 6 yards.
Nice pickup there.
Yeah, 2 nice runs like that, 2 nice pickups. That'll calm your nerves. You're in a rhythm now. Keep it moving down the field.
Yeah, we're actually seeing that hurry-up offense again.
They're in hurry-up
Wilmington
mode.
is playing their ball right now.
Single back set, 3 receivers to the right. This time it's going to Johns to the other way. And this time he gets stuffed out to the 46-yard line. It's going to be a 3rd down and a long 4 for Wilmington. They need to get to midfield to pick up the first down.
It's a very manageable 3rd down. Execute the play and just pick up the first down. No reason to be nervous on this play. Pick it up. You know you can do it. Get the first down.
They got 3 receivers out to the left in the pistol formation with Johns behind Matt Credit. Back to pass. Matt Credit. He's going to throw it to Dylan Bogart, who's swarming out of his shoes. He's at the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25. Dylan Bogart pushed outside of the 25-yard line to the 23. First down, Hurricane.
It's the same play that we've seen time and time again. Dylan releases from the slot into the flat. Andy runs a crossing route across the middle of the field. It's a slant. And then another receiver tries to get open going towards the middle of the field as well. And that opened enough space for Dylan in the flat.
They're at the 22-yard line where it's 1st and 10 with 6:45 left in the game. Ball game tied at 13 all. 5 wide receivers. Matt Credit is in the gun. This one is going to be a sweep to Bogart. And Bogart is going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. There was no blockers out there at all.
Yeah, they try to get their running game going again by spreading out the defense that time.
2nd down and 10 yards to go. Clock under 6.5. Technically, Wilmington is in field goal range.
Miami Trace did a pretty good job of staying disciplined on that play. They saw Dylan go in motion. I think as soon as they saw that, they knew to stay home and watch for the jet sweep.
Offset gun formation with 3 receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Fisher, the big man, is going to get the carry, and he gets across the 25. He's going to get knocked back, I think, a yard. And it's 3rd down and it's about 11 yards to go. They need to get down to about the 12 to pick up a first down. Clock is now under 6 minutes to play in regulation.
This is definitely 2-down territory to make it 4 downs. So they're not going to be kicking any field goal unless they can get much closer to the goalposts.
Pistol formation, 3 receivers out to the left. Credit to take the snap. Back to pass. Looking. Fires a long pass. Tyler Bogart almost had it. It is incomplete. Cedric Pettiford was on the coverage, and it's 4th and long. What do you do here, guys?
I don't see a field goal.
You need 6 points. You really need 6 points because there's a lot of time left on that clock.
Yeah, the way Trace can run the ball if they get into the groove, so to speak, they could march it right back down the field. Wilmington's taking a timeout here. They're going to talk it over.
About it.
So tonight we've seen Wilmington line up in trips and utilize those crossing routes, and I think we've seen two significant plays out of the trips. That time we saw, again, they tried to set up that wheel route to Dylan Bogard. It was a tight window to fit it in, and they just couldn't complete it. And then the other play is where Dylan releases into the flat, and if that's not there, he goes to his second read, which is Andy Ely on that slant route.
Again, we'd like to thank Bill Marine, Ford, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep. They're proud sponsors for Hurricane Football on WALHradio.com. They offer great new car lines as well as quality reconditioned used cars. Stop by there at 1182 West Main Street in Wilmington, Ohio, near the fairgrounds, or call the friendly staff at 937-382-3858.
Just looking at scores again, we still see that Hillsborough and East Clinton are scoreless, 0-0. So right now the battle is for whoever can score the first points, I guess.
The offense is coming back out on the field. It is 4th down and 11 yards to go. 4 wide receivers.
Chili's up on Massey, 19-15. 19-15.
Back to pass on the low snap. He fires one up for Dylan Bogart. Oh. There's the penalty flag there. That was, oh my goodness. That was interference.
Yeah, Dylan got bumped well into his route. His route had developed well past 5 yards, and he got bumped in that he couldn't catch up to the ball because of that.
That was definitely pass interference. I don't see how you get a no call off that.
Miami Trace was showing blitz all the way. They brought all their linebackers. I'm surprised that Wilmington hasn't attacked the seam or the middle of the field with their 2 tight ends, McPherson or Miller, or maybe even sending Dylon towards the middle of the field.
Well, Trace is going to take over now on the 23-yard line with a 2-back set. This one is going to go to Miller. Miller gets stuffed at the 25 for 2 yards at 2nd and 8.
They limit him to a short gain. This is where practice all week comes into. Kellen has told them, tackle, run through your tackles, know your assignments, play disciplined, fill the gaps, play fast.
This is a good time for a big turnover.
We haven't seen a turnover all day long. It's 2nd down and 8, under 5 to play. 2-back set. Miller goes in motion. This one is going to go to Jones. There's a flag down. This one's going to be coming back. Holding against Trace. That's going to take him back 10 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and 18 now.
Well, 2nd down and 18, that gives this Wilmington defense a little momentum. It gives Miami Trace a longer field to work with. That could be key.
They're backed at the 15 to pick up a 1st down. They need to get to the 33 on 2nd and 18. 2 receivers, 2 backs. McDonald under center. This one is going to go to Miller, and he's going to get stuffed, and there's another flag down.
Back him up again. I'd decline it. Back him up even further. No point, you stuffed him. 3rd down then.
A face mask against Wilmington. That's a 5-yard penalty, incidental contact, and it's going to be 2nd down and 13 now. That penalty hurts. They're on the 20.
Okay, with less than 2 minutes to go, Massey is trailing there at Chillicothe. Chillicothe has a lead, 19-15. Massey has 2 minutes.
2nd down and long. There's the pitch play to Miller on the right side. And he gets tripped up at the 22. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down and 10, boys.
And guess who that was coming in to make the play? That was Dylon Bogard coming in to make the play from his corner position. It was a pitch out to his side of the field.
He was held, too.
Yeah, he was being held, and he still blew up his blocker and knocked him back into the running back to trip him up and make the play.
3rd and 10. Receiver is wide to the right. There goes Miller in motion. McDonald with the play action over the middle. Almost intercepted, but there's a flag down on the play. What is this penalty on?
Is it defensive holding? It came from the secondary. I think
It's going to be defensive holding.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Damn. It was off of play action. The linebackers were playing close to the line of scrimmage. They were pursuing the ball carrier, and they were probably thinking that that tight end was going to block maybe, or they went to jam him, and they held him a second too long.
Well, that's going to give them an automatic first down.
My guess is that they were jamming him off of the line, or they were bumping into him to try to the play action probably froze the backers, and they tried to make up for that by jamming him or bumping into him.
And here's a news flash. Hillsboro and East Clinton are going into overtime, tied 0-0.
Miller gets the carry out to the 40-yard line. And Hillsboro and East Clinton's going to OT, you said?
Yeah, I think that the lights are still out there. I think they're using like night vision goggles for the game.
Gain of 6. And it's 2nd down and 4 for the Panthers. We're under 3, folks. This one might be going to overtime, too. There goes Miller. He's got a first down and more. Miller is off to the races. And it's a touchdown, Miami Trace.
I mean, Wilmington just didn't pursue the ball well, and they didn't fill their gaps well.
Massey's losing, too.
That wasn't the most disciplined play that we've seen Wilmington's defense have.
There's still plenty of time left in this extra point. 2:39 remaining in quarter number 4. Number 20, Blake Pitzer is in to attempt the extra point. This to put him up by a touchdown and extra point. Ball's up, kick is up, and it is good.
I mean, that play was more about what Wilmington didn't do as opposed to what Miami Trace did do. Miami Trace gave the running back room to work with. They opened up a gap, but he broke through the arm tackles. They didn't converge on the ball as well as they have been. They didn't fill the gaps as well as they have been doing, and the pursuit just wasn't there.
This crowd is silent.
Yeah, Miami Trace has refused to give up on the running game, and that wears the defense out. I mean, they've just been pounding them all game.
You can hear a pin drop over here on the Wilmington sideline with 2:39 left in the 4th. Miami Trace takes their first lead of the game, or their second lead of the game, 20-13 over the Hurricane. But the Hurricanes still have 2:39 and a timeout to drive down the field.
It's plenty of time for them to put something together. Like Coach Kellen said, he said it multiple times to Generations, they have to overcome adversity if they want to win games, especially this one right now.
And this will definitely be a true test of that.
Bogart and Johns are back to receive Pitzer's kick. Bogart's had great returns all day. If he gets another one here, do not hold, do not block in the back, don't do any stupid thing, that's going to get you in trouble. There's the kick. It's a squib kick. Jerry Johns is going to pick this one up. He's across the 25. What a block by Bogart. He's out across the 35, down to the 39-yard line. And that is where Wilmington's offense will take over with 2:33.
Decent field position. They're on the 40, looks like, almost the 40-yard line. Just put a drive together, get in a good rhythm, and pick up first downs.
Whoever's keeping score for Massey, because they're doing the live updates on Max Preps. They've stopped doing it since the 3rd quarter. They're obviously not.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. In the pistol formation is Matt Credit with Johns behind him. Credit on the option. He's going to pitch this one out to Jerry Johns. He gets across the 40, takes a big hit at the 42.5-yard line, a gain of 3.
On that option, Miami Trace didn't overcommit to the quarterback that time. They sort of stayed at home. They made Matt Credit string that play out, and they didn't give as much room as Jerry Johns has been seen on those option plays.
3 receivers are now out to the left. Credit is in the pistol. Back to pass. Fires one quick for Andy Ely, and it's too low, incomplete. Third down.
Yeah, just another curl. It requires timing and a precision pass, and that time was just a little too low for Andy to make a play on that ball.
Wilmington has 2 plays to pick up a first down with 2:03 and a timeout. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Credit is in the pistol. Credit, back to pass. He's going to throw one deep for Andy Ely, and it's overthrown, incomplete. This is the ball game right here. It's 4th down.
Yeah, the Wilmington offense, they haven't established a rhythm on this drive.
4th down, 7 yards to go. 3 receivers. Or 4 wide receivers altogether.
Hell, this is the ball game.
Matt Credit is in the pistol. They need 7 yards. Just to midfield. Back to pass is Matt Credit. He's under center. He fires. It's completed to Dylan Bogart. Bogart's got the first down, and the ball caused a fumble, but is down at the 46. First down with 1:51. What a play!
Matt Credit buys just enough time scrambling out of the pocket, rolling right. Dylon did a great job of working his way back to the quarterback, helping his quarterback out, catching the ball, and then turning upfield to get that first down.
He was
Great
chased
play.
by 2 defenders. They were after him, and he still got rid of it.
3 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. Credit the pistol on first down. Back to pass. He's going to launch one up for Andy Ely, and he's overthrown. 2nd down and 10.
That was Tyree Pitford, the receiver who caught that jump ball and gave Miami Trace the lead on that play, on the play where he caught the ball. On this play, he's playing corner. He does a good job of staying step for his man, actually got in front of his man, located the ball, didn't let him catch it.
2nd down and 10, same formation for Wilmington. Back to pass. He fires one up for Andy Ely. Incomplete. He took a shot.
Credit had to get rid of it quickly. The blitz was on, and I think he was just getting rid of that to avoid the sack. The route didn't develop at all. 3rd and long, again, you just get the feeling like this Wilmington offense is out of rhythm. They've been trying to complete passes on go routes. They haven't completed anything short or intermediate besides the Dylon pass where he worked his way back to his quarterback.
I honestly think the rain has slowed up a little, but not very much. There's 3 receivers to the left. A tight end over here on the right. In the pistol on 3rd down. Back to pass. He fires one up. Incomplete. Intended for Bogart, and this is the ball game again.
Yeah, Matt definitely looks like he's out of sync. These passes, in each case, have been a little long, and I don't know whether it's just the case of the rain or the field or a combination thereof, but he does look a little out of sync with the receivers.
I don't think the play calling has helped him get in sync with his receivers. They're all deep passes. They're not short, and they're not taking advantage of the blitz in the middle of the field. The middle of the field should be wide open right now.
Here we go, 4th and 10. This is Wilmington's undefeated season right here. Back to pass, Credit. He's going deep. Incomplete, intended for Harley McPherson. Where was defensive holding on that?
He had a hold of McPherson all the way down the field. I don't know.
Massey just scored with 7.7 seconds. It's 22-19 Massey.
They haven't kicked the extra point yet.
Huh?
They haven't kicked the extra point yet.
The point after's good.
Okay. Massey has taken the lead with just 7.2 seconds left in their game. They are ahead now, and it looks like they will continue to be undefeated this season.
And Trace is just going to get in victory formation and take a knee. Wilmington can stop the clock. 46 seconds, 45 seconds. There's his second knee. Wilmington could still get the ball back.
And pigs could fly, right?
No, they still have a timeout.
Well, I guess they could put one up, right?
And hope for a miracle return.
They're going to just let it run down. That's it.
And Wilmington's undefeated season is now no more. Miami Trace pulling off the upset 20-13 against the Hurricane tonight, guys.
Well, any way you look at it, Miami Trace played a good, solid game. They actually dictated the game tonight. They dictated that Wilmington couldn't run their hurry up. There were very few times that Wilmington could actually run the plays the way they were comfortable in running them. And I think that's what it came down to. Their defense dictated to Wilmington, rather than Wilmington, as they usually did, were able to dictate to the other team. It's a good game for Trace, and they deserve the win, obviously winning 20-13.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, coming up in just a few moments, we will have our post-game show here live from Townsend Field at Williams Stadium, as we'll talk about this surprising loss for Wilmington on the year, as well as give you our players of the ball game here tonight. Our final score, Miami Trace 20 and Wilmington 13. All right, guys. Well,
it's definitely a well-deserved win for Miami Trace.
It was a really good. It was a well-played ball game. Wilmington, lack of defensive tackling on that big long run that gave them the go-ahead score.
Well, Trace was able to keep the game close through the whole game, and that's all it took was one big play like that made all the difference in the ending score. And that's the problem. The problem is that if you don't keep a cushion, then you can end up losing a tough one just like they did tonight. And as it stands right now, with Chillicothe going down, there's one team that is undefeated in the SCOL as far as league play, and that is the Massey team. The Falcons are now 4-0 in the SCOL. And Wilmington will be going to Massey this next week, maybe with something to prove. And
you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this loss puts a little pep in this Wilmington team, and they go out there and they knock off Massey.
Well,
big. Not just by a little margin, but big, because this offense only scored 13 points tonight. This offense is used to putting up 40s and 50s on that scoreboard. If they don't go out there and put 50 points up on Massey next week, I'm going to be surprised.
Well, yeah, but I would be surprised if they do put up 50 points on Massey. Massey has a very tough defense, very aggressive. They play man-to-man just like they do, and they have a very experienced secondary, as Coach Kellen said.
I think the real key is going to be studying the film with both teams, because obviously Massey's going to look at the film tonight on this game and see what Trace did to shut Wilmington down. And Wilmington is going to have to look at Chillicothe's the game with Chillicothe, and they're going to have to study the film and see what Chillicothe was doing correctly in order to shut Massey down, or at least to slow them down.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I don't think it was – I'm not going to say that Trace didn't play a good game defensively, but I'm going to say that a lot of Wilmington's problems tonight was not what Trace did. It's what they did. Credit was always trying to go for the big play tonight. He was trying to go for the massive play, throw the ball down the field to his receivers, and you can't always try to go for the big play. Yeah, it may have worked the first 6 weeks of the season. Come week 7, when it was a tough ball game, against a very tough team, you're not going to get the big play every single time.
I was surprised that they didn't run more slant routes.
Because of that, his morale went from being up here all the way down to the bottom.
And that was particularly important with that last drive. Obviously, you could tell that he wasn't totally sure. But now, the real question is, who's calling the plays? I mean, Matt Credit,
The offensive coordinator.
well, Matt Credit throwing down the field, obviously those great distances, we don't know. We don't know how much of that was Credit trying to improvise or how much of that was actually something called in from the bench or upstairs.
Well, Coach Wolf was the one who calls all the offensive plays, and I mean, honestly, one of the things,
particularly if you're not executing them, that's the thing. If you see continually you're not executing those plays, then you got to think, doing the slant routes, doing the screens, doing other plays that might make it a little easier to make sure that you complete those passes. And then, if you're doing a screen, you're leaving it up to the receiver to run once he gets the ball. Obviously it might be hindsight. We're all quarterbacks, it's easy for us to sit up here and to pick certain things apart. But any way you look at it, obviously what it came down to was probably a lack of execution, and more importantly, maybe some revision in the kinds of calls that are going to be played, particularly with this game that's coming up next week.
Sitting here at the end of this game, I still think it was a game determined by the tempo that the defense has set. Going back to the East Clinton game, we saw East Clinton jump out ahead of Wilmington because of a very aggressive blitz. But Wilmington ended up winning that game because East Clinton's secondary couldn't seal the deal. Wilmington ended up getting big plays. This Miami Trace defensive unit, they played solid up front, but their secondary also played very solid. They won a lot of the one-on-one matchups, and it must have frustrated Matt Credit and the rest of this Wilmington offense so much because they couldn't get that big play. They couldn't get into a rhythm.
Like I said before, this Wilmington offense is known for big plays. The Wilmington defense is known for big plays, but tonight those big plays just went the other way.
And speaking of defense, going back to Wilmington's defense, all it took was just a couple plays and a couple miscues, and that broke open the game. The long run, there was lack of pursuit, missed tackles. They broke the long run. On the halfback pass, there was double coverage. They should have stopped that play. Tyree made a great jumping catch. He brought it down. I think the Wilmington defenders they had located the ball, and I think they were going for the pick instead of playing the man and trying to knock the ball
Well, they did all
loose.
they could on that. I mean, you have a 5'5", whatever cornerback out there against a 6'5", wide receiver. There's only so much you can do, and he beat him once. But I mean, it's really hard to beat him that second time.
But it should be even harder since they had double coverage on that play.
And I think what it comes back to once again is if you live and die with big plays, when if you can't get them, then obviously you're going to die. And that was the problem tonight. The problem tonight was Wilmington continued to go for those big plays, and they failed to be able to make those kinds of long field completions that they were looking for. It just wasn't there tonight. Obviously, they had a running back that was hurt and that wasn't even suited up tonight for the game. But you can't just make excuses. The Trace team played a great game. They obviously put it to Wilmington, and there's nothing else to say other than Wilmington dropped the ball and Trace picked it up and scored.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I bet you Trace studied that Butler film from Wilmington because they ran the ball all over Wilmington just like Butler did.
And they didn't make any mistakes as far as they weren't trying to force the ball as far as throwing it. They continued to run the ball. And obviously they were going to continue to run the ball until Wilmington could prove that they could stop them. Wilmington didn't do that. That's why Wilmington lost this game tonight.
I mean, both of these teams played pretty solid tonight. It just came down to two plays and just a couple of little miscues. Wilmington was solid for most of the game. It just took two plays to break open this game. It's something that they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, review and film study, and hopefully fix before they face an equally impressive Clinton Massey defense.
Absolutely, because what we've seen tonight obviously is, and there'll be some interesting games to come. Obviously, this Trace team has not played Massey. We have not played Chillicothe. And what we're seeing is the four teams at the top are very equally matched. And at this point, it'll be up to, I guess, some of the things that we're talking about tonight to determine who eventually ends up winning the SCOL. Now, as far as actually making the playoffs, Well, we'll have to see the computer ratings, after tonight's game. Obviously, that may change, and next week will be a big determinant simply because you're talking about playing a two-time state defending champion. Now, granted, they're a division down, but, when it comes to just what Massey's done, this next game is extremely critical in the future of Wilmington making the playoffs, because if they can manage to go to Massey in their home field and be able to upset Massey, and we'd have to call it an upset now, if they can upset Massey, that would certainly propel them higher in those computer rankings, just simply because of the team that Massey is.
I want to put 50 points on Massey. I really, really do, because this offense was held to 13 points tonight, something that hasn't happened all season long. And I'm telling you what, if Kellen and the coaching staff at Wilmington doesn't get these boys fired up for next week and want them to put 50 points on the board or more, then it's going to be it'll be a disappointing game. I mean, if your defense goes out there and your defense tackles and you guys play the way that you guys have been playing all season long, they're going to be able to beat Massey. They have to believe. If you believe that you can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, Coach Kellen, he preaches execution, and he preaches heady play, and that's what it's going to take to beat Clinton Massey. Because Clinton Massey they're an equally heady team. They're experienced. They've been there before. They've done that. And they're going to be willing to step up to the challenge. It's going to be whoever executes plays and finishes drives, scores.
Oh, we'd like to remind you that this Tuesday we've got the Wilmington Sports Show from Generations Pizza. This will be an interesting sports show. Obviously, we'll be talking, hopefully, to Coach Gillen and maybe a couple players.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see their analysis of this game and how they feel and what they think, and we'll literally then be able to talk with the coach about this team that we weren't able to name, which is obviously the Clinton Massey Falcons, and we will get the full rundown on what he's thinking for next week's game.
And I mean, you guys get a look at this season right now. All right, they're 6-1. They were 3-7 at the end of last year. Kellen has already came in here and he's already turned this program around a lot. I mean, these kids, I've never seen a more motivated bunch of kids playing high school football than I have this Wilmington team. And tonight, I just honestly think that Trace wanted it more. They had the more heart when they came out and they played, and it was
agree.
a hard fought. It was a hard fought ball game all the way through. But in the end, it just seemed like Wilmington got themselves into third and longs, and Miami Trace got them into third and short. So you're gonna, like I said before during the game, you're gonna get third and shorts more often than you are third and longs, because on third and longs you're gonna have to pass. That's your higher risk. And tonight the passing game wasn't even existent for Wilmington like it has been in the past. They had the one touchdown to Dylan Bogart. They scored one touchdown.
Well, Lee Hindy is all excited. East Clinton has won their first game tonight. They won in overtime 3-0. The lights must have come on.
Someone kicked it. They actually kicked a field goal. What?
Yeah, the lights came on in Lee's Creek, and I don't even think that's where they played the game. So Lee's Creek now can rejoice. They've won their first game of the season. They won it 3-0. And just to remind you, we will be at Massey next week with our remote unit, our truck, so that we can actually be behind the stands with our truck. We'll be able to put our video crew on top of the truck. We will have our incredible announcers and play-by-play people in the stands with the Wilmington fans, and they will be able to broadcast live from the stands on the Wilmington side of Ireland Field there in Massey territory. And of course, I don't know where I'll be. I might still be back up in the press box. We'll just have to see where I am. But we will be bringing you the game next week. The game will start at 7:15, and that's East Coast time, of course.
7:15 pregame, 7:30 kickoff. Don't forget, coming to you live tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m., the Wilmington Fighting Quakers have their homecoming matchup as they try to upset the number 6 John Carroll Blue Streaks as they come into town. And, we got two straight home games here for the Fighting Quakers. They're 0-4 on the year, looking to pick up their first W in the OAC. And
Bill will be talking about his win with East Clinton tonight.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Thank God Bill will be in a great mood tomorrow night. 3-0. Wow.
A barn burner in overtime.
Well, guys, a win even if it doesn't have any style.
Well, guys, I would have liked to have won 3-0 tonight, right?
Ethan, give me your player of the games on offense, defense, and your special mention tonight.
Well, on defense, I think I'm going to have to go with Dylon. I mean, he broke up several passes. It was down in the right end zone. They gave him a jump ball. He was lined up against a 6'5" receiver, and he did a great job of staying on his receiver's hips and then looking in his receiver's eyes, seeing that he was looking up, then locating the ball, turning his own head, locating the ball, and tipping it away. He had a pretty good defensive night, and he blew up a couple run plays when they came his way on the outside playing corner. On offense, it's a little harder to do, honestly, for this game. We're used to seeing Wilmington score so many points and rack up so many yards, and this time the Wilmington offense was frustrated for the most part. They only put up 13 points in today's game. I mean, when I go back and I think about the big plays that the offense made tonight, it involved Dylon or it involved Matt Credit. Matt Credit had a couple big plays with his feet that kept a couple drives going that were key to staying in this ball game. And, of course, Dylon, he helped get his quarterback out of some trouble with some quick passes in the flats, and then he had that one big wheel route that went for a touchdown. So I guess on offense I'd have to go with Matt Credit. So Matt Credit, Dylon.
For my player of the games, I got to tell you this right now. For offense, I'm definitely going with Russell Miller for Miami Trace. I mean, he scored the game go-ahead touchdown. You know, him and Jeremiah Jones all game long. They're running back and forth, and Wilmington's defense just got worn down. They weren't on the field very long in the second half, and guess what? They were on the field almost the entire – or they weren't on the field very long in the first half, but they were on the field for almost the entire second half, and I think that's what did it for them. On defense and special teams, I'm going to go with Dylan Bogart as well. I mean, he's made some great plays on defense, and he made some great plays on special teams. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I honestly think, you know, he was one of the only players tonight that, you know, was playing his heart out.
Yeah, you were talking about the Miami Trace players. If I was to look at the Miami Trace players, I think on defense I'd mention Tyree Pettiford for sure. He had the giant play on offense, catching that jump pass from the halfback, which tied the game.
Tied the game.
Which tied the game. And then on defense, he broke up, it seemed like, every pass that was coming his way. He did a great job of sticking with his man, and then not only that, but getting open on that play and bringing down a heck of a catch. And then on offense, Russell Miller, he carried the load on offense, and he had a pretty good game.
Well, I guess we will see you at Clinton Massey next week. Miami Trace is going to Hillsboro. They'll be playing Hillsboro next week. So at this point, we will be here tomorrow for the college game. Now, who is Wilmington College playing tomorrow?
Wilmington College is playing the 6th-ranked Blue Streaks of John Carroll.
And this is homecoming.
This is homecoming.
For Wilmington College. Okay.
Yep. And
so
that
any
game
predictions?
that game can be seen live on WilmingtonQuakers.com with the video, and I think our audio, we're going to put our audio up on Campus Nation.
Yes, and those are the Fighting Quakers, aren't they?
The Fighting Quakers.
The Fighting Quakers.
Without the G.
No G. Okay.
And then on
it's like the hurricane without the S.
Yeah, and then obviously Tuesday we'll be sitting down with Coach Kellen at Generations Pizzeria, and Thursday I'll be sitting down with Coach Stacy Hairston again over at Austin's, and the next Friday night we'll be at Massey, and then next Saturday afternoon we'll be back here as Wilmington will take on Baldwin Wallace. So there's your full week of football for you. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors very much tonight, Bill Marine, Ford, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep. We'd also like to thank Wilmington Savings Bank and Bogart's Barbecue. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening on WALH Radio and CampusNation.com. My name was A.J. Ganger, alongside Ethan Rudd and Rick Phillips saying good night, ladies and gentlemen. Our final score again, Miami Trace 20 and Wilmington 13. Good night.